Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Thursday night. We are back. Welcome to the NLG Show. And look at this. Except I don't know what happened to John. John went small on us. Hang on. Oh, there he goes. I know you. Oh my gosh, you are snake bit when it comes to Skype. I don't know what is going on with you. It doesn't. Skype. Well, you know why? Because you said bad things about streaming. I all right. I don't know what's going on. Well, all right. I will figure this out. I will figure this out with you. We will get this done somehow, so you can actually be, you can see what's going on. So, oh, a little. Look at this. Look at that epic beard. Bring that camera down a little bit, Chris. We got to see the epicness. That is so that is definitely that is Warhorse like. So, well, what is going on, guys? Look at this. We got a full boat tonight. And it's great because we got so much crap to talk about. And John has some stuff. John's got a bunch of stuff for us, man. This is going to be like the John Place show tonight. He Oh, hold on. Hang on, John. They're saying, give me 1 second. They're saying they can't hear you. Hold on 1 sec. And I think I know why. Hold on. Hang on. All right. How about now? Can you guys, let's see. Say something, John. Can you hear John in the chat at all? No.
Can you hear me now?
In the chat here, John.
Where is the Nintendo gift card? What are we doing here?
Damn it, Frankie. I know, but
Right?
a little at a time.
All right. So can John say something now? Okay. Invader's saying now he can hear you.
Invader, can you hear me?
Okay. So I think I know what it is. So, a little behind the scenes cooking. Skype. This is great. This is OBS. Skype works with this much better than with what we were using before, which is XSplit. But I got to get the correct audio port because otherwise everyone's sound will be doubled and tripled up. So I've got to use Peter's sound bar for everyone. So here's the great thing. Peter, can they hear you?
Nope.
I think Chris is drinking something. I don't know if that's water or vodka tonic or something. It may be a little stronger.
I can't hear Peter.
Wait, no, we actually can't hear you, Peter, unless you're playing with us.
Hang on.
Now you can. Can you hear me?
Can they hear me now, Mike?
Yes, they can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, well, tonight I wanted to do something special for our guests. Mike Mullis, our host of the show, he's been through a real rough time. He had a real rough time at work that he had to get through, and that we were off for several weeks. But anyway, I wanted to do something for our listeners out there. So I went out tonight and I bought a $25 PlayStation gift card and a $25 Xbox card. And I'm going to let Mike decide, and the rest of the members on the show, how to give these away. So if you're listening out there, we've got these 2 gift cards tonight, and we want to just thank you for your patronage and for listening to our show and supporting us. Thank you.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you, John. I mean, that's
Yeah, that's
unbelievable. That is. So,
Send me codes. I will make sure they work.
Oh, see, darn it, Peter, they work.
Oh,
I
my
just scratched them off. I gave Mike the codes.
Oh, okay.
So if he sends them out to you and they don't work, that means Mike stole them.
So, I have, for you lovely folks in chat, I have been typing your names into the random name picker website du jour, and just to give you guys just a very quick, see if I can do I don't want to do a window capture. I want to do I don't know how to do. So one thing I don't know how to do is a display. Well, I can do a display capture. So I'll just show you guys real quick. Oops, sorry. I am using the hold on. I'm using the random name picker, and I'm putting everybody's name in the chat that I see come in. So as long as you guys are active in chat and I can see you, I'm adding your names here, and I will pick a random name towards the end of the show. I'm going to pick 2. The first person can have their choice of card, whichever one they want, and the second one will get the other one. So just so that I'm assuming everyone here would have multiple consoles. So anyway,
And if you only choose one, that means you're a fanboy.
That's right. So all right, Jay.
Wow.
But Jay. Okay. So to be fair.
Chris, yes.
I didn't say which one.
I know.
So Jay, if you get tired, just put some headphones on and just. And by the way, guys, I didn't get a chance to listen to it live because of work, but I had work and then I had to take my middle son to Scouts. But man, Retro Renegades is like lighting on fire. They are so freaking awesome, and I can't. I listened to it
That's
on
the
the
best
way.
setup, background and everything.
I had to drive. I know. I had to drive to Herndon, and so I put it on while I was driving to Herndon today, and nearly ran off the road a couple of times. People were just like, they're like watching me like cracking up in the car and giving me weird looks. It was really funny. So, now if you guys have a chance, Retro Renegades is they're just so special, and it's so different. It's just so different. It's it's like it's definite no chill gaming, and they're usually playing some sort of retro game while doing all that. So it's just so fun. I've been on there too, and it's really fun. So, and I just want to say hi to everybody that's in the chat room. Thank you guys so much. Jay, and everybody knows that Jay is also, pretty much embedded, grained part of, Next Level Gaming. He's responsible for, him and Diego are responsible for much of what you see on the screen. So, just our brothers in gaming, and we want to thank everybody. Jago, my true brother Jago, who I'm convinced I'm related to. Stinking Corpse, who's up on the other side of the world, so he's up tonight. And Born, and I know Z Black's going to be in here soon because he was intrigued by what could be. So hopefully he'll see that and jump in. So as I
don't
see
know
you
if you guys can see this, but tonight it's the Xbox 360 t-shirt
very nice.
that I'm
Very
sporting.
nice.
I can't quite get the right angle. Things aren't working well for me.
That's all right. There's De Niro. There's our brother De Niro. So let me add him to the chat. So yep. Yes, he is. All right, I got you. I got you in the random name picker, in the random nose picker. So, man, look at this. We got the full house tonight. Peter, how you
Full
doing,
house.
brother?
Well, hanging in there, right?
Yeah.
Dodging Corona left and right.
Oh my God.
Hey, you guys
But
are
I mean-
lucky y'all can work from home.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
Mike.
But
Yeah,
it's
this is
crazy
true.
because everything is canceled. My daughter, she has spring break a week from Friday, so everything got like effed up. So
Peter, how old's your daughter? And what?
6.5.
Oh wow. So have they
and
closed
this
her
week,
school down for several weeks then?
next week Monday they close. Yes.
Oh
So
wow.
she has a week where they have to do some online learning stuff, whatever that entails. We'll figure it out.
Well, at least her
And then
dad's
she has a week
wizard
of
with the computer.
spring break. That now she's at home, and we're not going anywhere because
Oh, that's
I was supposed
right.
to go on a cruise.
Oh
So that
man.
canceled. So
I'm so
Wow.
sorry.
Wow.
and then we thought like, okay, maybe we're not going on a cruise because if you get quarantined or you cannot visit any islands, then all you see is a boat.
What
Well,
So we
at
thought
least
about
your daughter's
canceling
safe,
that,
Peter.
and we
That's-
thought we just go to Florida, and just go to Legoland and Disney parks and stuff.
Right.
But everything gets closed.
Yeah,
So.
they closed Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least your daughter's safe, Peter. That's the main thing. You know?
That's,
Well, that's-
true. And you
Yeah,
guys,
because-
yeah.
That's
We're
awesome.
we're still sane.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, they closed every school in Maryland. Every school. Like it's not even like county this county that county. It's just every school.
Yeah.
The NBA, the MLB, Major League Soccer. I heard.
But you know what's not closed?
What's not closed?
OG NLG.
That's right.
We're
here.
There we go.
We're
We're
here.
here.
Almost every acronym except for our podcast is closed.
Right.
Right.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
My work is not closed, so
Neither is mine. and-
Because yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, but
John, does some toilet paper come with those gift cards? Because
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Here's the funny thing, and I hate saying this. We all know this is real. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. I don't know. I guess you guys know who Joe Rogan is. Well, he had a doctor on there, and he was interviewing him about this coronavirus, and they were talking about the severity of it. This is a severity issue. The problem is the media. If you go on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News, they're playing this all day long. So everybody's getting real frantic. They're getting agitated. So they're going out. They're buying thousands of dollars of toilet paper. They're buying.
Oh,
all
what about a lifetime supply of wipes?
Yes, right.
Floor cleaner.
I can't even get dude wipes anymore.
I was at Costco today.
Right. I
Right
heard
when they
about
open up.
those troubles.
Man, the line was so bad. I thought it was Black Friday. What the heck?
Peter's a frequent shopper. He went in just to get his normal day shopping, and he couldn't even get it done because of all this madness.
Yeah. And then
So-
Costco has the fun of making it a scavenger hunt by moving everything to a different spot. So
Right.
they put limits on stuff too, because
Right.
we normally
yeah, that's
we normally just kind of stockpile when we do buy stuff from there, because we'll just get 3 cases of water, and then my sister-in-law and my father-in-law like those sparkling waters they do. You can only get 2 cases, and she's like,
Yeah.
okay, but it's just kind of annoying because we only actually do a grocery thing once every 3 months, but
Well, it's really bad because this virus is a serious issue, but at the same time, people are they're freaking out, which is making it worse.
Yeah.
Like we know there is a severe problem, yes, but at the same time, we need to try to keep our composure and just do what we would normally do to try to prevent this sickness from spreading.
Well,
but it's gotten out of control.
Well,
I mean, it's
Well,
gone
I'm
crazy.
telling you, this coronavirus has killed more events than it has people. I mean,
So true.
seriously. Look, and here's the other thing. How did we get to a point where we are telling people it's imperative to wash your frickin' hands?
I don't know.
no,
all
but
know
with
this.
instructions,
We're
not just
we're like
washing hands,
adults.
but
Right.
how
Sing
to. And
Sing happy birthday twice. What? Just wash
And here's
your
the thing
freaking
that really,
hands.
I'm real anal anyway. Like my controllers, everything, my Xbox controllers, everything's like dust free anyway. And I've got little microfiber cloths. So when they're telling me that I need to wash my hands, I'm like, really? I do that anyway. I'm a clean person, you know?
Did any of you guys consider that maybe there's a toilet paper shortage because that many people didn't already wipe their asses?
I don't know. I think it's
I
because
don't know.
people are
Maybe that's
overweight,
why
their
the
asses are
smell.
larger, and maybe they're using more toilet paper.
Holy shit.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Really,
I think we need to
beyond
ration
me.
toilet
Oh
paper.
my god.
You know, single ply only.
Well, there was a guy at work that I talked to today, and I was asked about it, and he said that he had went to the grocery store and he was stocking up on things. So I said, okay, I was trying to like get inside his head and try to understand where he was coming from. And he said, well, with the way things are going, he was just stocking up excessively because he was afraid that because of all the media and the social media, that he wanted to get products and stuff before they were all bought up. So that was his process of thinking, you know.
There's legitimate people though too that are saying get all of your money out of the bank because the bank's gonna close, and
It's
you
like,
know,
yeah, it's a
come
wonderful
on,
life.
Like
Yeah.
Y2K all over.
yeah,
right.
really. Oh my
But what
goodness.
is it with water? It's like all of a sudden the water is gonna dry up. Like
But at the same
Yeah.
time,
turn on the faucet. Like, sorry, no water. What the heck?
there were some facts out that there was like 3.5 to 4% of people have died from this. Everybody that has contracted it, there's been 3 to 4% that have died. And it's not, the mistake is, it's not an ordinary flu. It's not an ordinary influenza. Nobody's developed any antibodies naturally for this. So it is a problem at the same time. It's just that the media is running away from it and everybody's getting scared and frantic and they're going out and they're acting crazy. But we still need to be cognizant and it is still serious. That's why they're closing all these events. They're not doing it for nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
don't know.
what
I
good
just
is
think
it
the
to
whole
close
thing's
like certain things, like schools and other stuff,
Right.
and then the kids are at home, and the whole neighborhood start playing together and other stuff.
Peter, did you hear about Fred Hoiberg? He's the coach of a college team, and I can't remember which team, but he used to be a player for the Indiana Pacers. And maybe you guys know. Are you guys college basketball fans? Fred Hoiberg. He's a coach of some
Frankie
team.
is. He's major.
Frankie, do you
he's a
know who
sports
Fred
ball person.
Hoiberg is the coach of? Do you know? Well, anyway, he's the coach. Well, anyway, it was found out that he had the virus, and this is the coach of one of the college teams. So, you know, that's another issue right there. So even if they don't have any fans with the March Madness and the college basketball teams, it is possible that the coaches, the players, anybody that's around the remaining people could have this virus still.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Tom Hanks and his wife, Hollywood stars, they were in Australia and they were watching a movie. They were in a movie theater and they started feeling sick and it's found out they've got the virus, both of them. So people that are traveling abroad, Hollywood stars, anybody, you know, sports. So there is some threat to this, you know.
But how many people had it, and didn't even?
I don't know. We don't even know, Peter. You're right.
Exactly.
I mean, you can have it for like 2 to 14 days and not even really show signs of it. And then if you touch something, the actual virus can last for 9 days on a surface. So, I mean, little kids could have the virus, and they're even saying now that some kids are contracting the virus, but they're not showing any symptoms, but they're passing it on.
Yeah.
So, you've got parents, school activities, and like Peter said, they're closing schools, and it's getting nuts. Yeah.
It is. So.
But there's little buggers, they don't cover their faces correctly and other stuff, and they sneeze and other stuff.
That's true.
So it's like, they don't show symptoms. Yeah.
And if you guys watch Letterkenny?
Who?
No? No, all right, cool. Well, they're doing a live show, and then they just posted that they're canceling, or not canceling, but postponing the rest of their North American tour.
Who is Letterkenny?
Starting tonight. It's a TV show on Hulu. It's pretty hilarious. It's a good time.
I guess it's better to err on the side of caution, though, versus not doing anything and then people getting real sick, though. I mean, what do you guys think about this? I mean, any thoughts? Or
I mean,
Do you think it's gone too far, or do you think we're not being
I,
we're underestimating it? Because it's just the beginning of it. It just got over here. Like China's got 80,000 cases of this virus, and we've got like 1,000 or 1,500 cases here in the United States. So
and
I think
350
this is
million
just the
people.
beginning. Yeah,
I don't know. You know,
it's hard to say, isn't it? I mean,
I want to be look. I'm all for caution, you know, and I'm
Right.
all for, like the NBA team saying, this guy's got corona. We are, he's going to be medically suspended for a couple weeks. We're going to have everybody tested. Please don't come to the arena if you have, corona.
Right.
I mean, or just whatever. I mean, I get being cautious, but
right.
at 45 years old, I've been around to see the swine flu and H1N1 and SARS and all this, and there was never this level of panic
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, but also like with SARS and other stuff. I mean, it could, contain much earlier on.
Well, more
Don't you
people.
guys
This one is
There
like
were
the,
like 12,000 deaths in it with H1N1. I mean, it, and I get it. I think maybe that some of this is kind of learning from that, where they didn't react fast enough. I don't know.
Well,
There's
there's 7 different versions of the coronavirus. There's 7 different versions, and this one, nobody has any antibodies built up, and the way that they're canceling things leads me to believe that the way that they're just jumping on us, that there may be a little bit more to this than what we're thinking, or maybe they're realizing this is a little more out of hand than what they thought, and they're taking extra precautions, because we've had all kinds of flus, the H1N1, we've had different variations of the coronavirus, but this one, it seems like, man, they're really clamping down quick. So I'm tending to think that there's more to this than what we know, or that it's spreading so quick that there is more of a fear. I could be wrong.
I think the thing with it is it spreads extremely easy. Like you could just be standing next to somebody breathing and contract
Right.
it. So I think that's part of it. But I don't know about you guys. You guys have had the flu before, right? Like
Oh, I have.
I don't know. I don't know how the hell anybody would have the energy to want to go out and do any of this shit
Well,
anyways with the flu.
Here's one case that happened, Frankie, that was real bad. Now this was a specific example. The problem with this virus, there was an oncologist, a cancer doctor, that came down with this virus. Okay. Well, he didn't know he had it. Well, he was treating cancer patients. Well, those cancer patients, their immune system is already lower. Okay. And depending on their age, they're a little more susceptible to this. So this cancer doctor contracted the virus, and then he was in contact with tons and tons of patients for a couple weeks. So now they all have the possibility of getting it, and their immune system can't fight it off because they're fighting to stay alive. So there are some situations, and I guess this virus is supposed to be like attacks the respiratory system real bad. It's kind of more like a pneumonia. It's not like a stomach flu. It attacks the breathing and stuff like that. And if it starts getting that stage, you're supposed to seek help. But I mean, I could see where some situations where this example, the cancer doctor giving it to his patients, or possibly where people are already like weak or immune to these things, I could see where this could get out of hand real quick.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of us, younger people, you're healthy enough, you can get over it. I
Right.
mean, the majority of people that have gotten it have recovered, but then again, that's why they call it a pandemic. That it spreads so fast and you risk, you have family members that are older or have lower immune systems. I mean, you just don't want to risk getting them sick,
Right.
right.
So it is pretty bad, but at the same time, I think it's getting blown out of proportion. I think
Right.
there's ways. I don't know. I don't know if they have to cut everything off and close everything. There could be ways of just being smart about how you you know.
It's
Well, and see,
gonna
it's
get
real
worse,
bad, Chris.
exponentially
Like in
worse.
America, this is an election year. We got an election, and I don't like to talk about politics. I like to let everybody decide who they want to vote for on their own. But we've got an election year this year, and right now there's politicians out there that I think what really bothers me, they're taking this virus and this sickness and people dying, and they're using it for their own political agenda. And I think that's what really upsets me, because we should all be coming together as a nation.
Oh yeah, I agree.
No matter where you live, whether it's Germany, United States, Italy, Spain, Bolivia, wherever you live, you should be coming together. But we've got these politicians, because of it being election year, they're using it to their advantage, and they're saying our current president doesn't care, which isn't true, and this goes on, which is actually kind of it's kind of sickening, because people's lives are at stake here.
And they're doing it. It's not just here. I mean, I was looking on Twitter, and they're doing it over in the UK as well. I was thinking Corpse could probably speak to. I mean, this is happening everywhere.
No, Stinking Corpse. He's U.S.
Oh, I thought he was. Who am I thinking of? I thought Stinky was over in.
No, Indie Gamer's over.
I know Indie Gamer is, but so.
Hey, you guys,
Jeff says, I know Indie. Oh, so Stinkin's in Kansas. I had you pet. Man. No, so see. Man.
That's you're thinking about Stinking UK. He's not over.
I might be. Jeff says the coronavirus just needs to rage quit and F off.
There you go. And then you know what? And then it probably will after, maybe they just tell everybody stay home for 2 weeks, and then
it goes away.
Maybe it might, go away a little bit.
The thing is, they do that when it's too late. You should do it now. We don't.
Yeah, you're right. And see, my daughter, the local college here, they told her you get another week off. So, and then who knows what's going on after that. But what's weird is the public schools here have not. Right now, my youngest is going through spring break this week, but we haven't heard anything. We'll find out.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll find out, closer to the end of the week, But, we were talking about it at work, it could be a matter. Here in San Antonio, it hasn't really been an outbreak, even though they are bringing in people into Lackland and, quarantining them. And there was one kind of scare where they released one person from that, that was quarantined. They had 2 tests and they came back negative, so they released the person. And so they were heading towards the airport, but on the way to the airport, they decided to go stop at the mall. And then come find out there was a 3rd test that this person had that came back positive.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of created a little bit of scare here. So they closed the mall down, I think, for a couple of days, cleaned it. But as far as I know, there's nobody here in San Antonio that has it. And, we're kind of thinking, well, maybe a matter of time. And if somebody at my work, which we have about 400 to 600 people, what are they going to do? They might tell us shut down for 2 weeks. I don't know, which would be crazy.
See, that's like where I work, Chris. We've got 6,000 people at our plant, and we're like the largest transmission maker in the world. I work at Allison Transmission, and we've got people. I live in Indiana, but we've got people that live on the north, south, east, west side, and they've all had these, breakouts occur where people have been, to this virus. So, and then you go to work, everybody clocks in and clocks out at the time machine. You're touching the same clock, clocking in and out. They've got hand sanitizers at work that they're putting out, little posts, little stations, and they're telling people to wash frequently and this and that. But the reality of it is they can't prevent it all. And
they can't.
What I've noticed in politics lately, and I don't like to get into it, but everybody's blaming like our current president. And I hate to say this, but nobody's at fault for this. This is something that's happened, and this is something where we need to come together on and try to help each other. People's lives are at stake here, and the president can't stop sickness. He can't stop disease. There's only so much anybody can do. All we can do is try to stay as clean as we can, and that's all we can do.
And you know what? This ain't gonna be the last virus that's gonna hit us.
No, no.
We've all been around, and but this is the worst that I've ever seen the country react, or a virus actually spread like this, or just the way things are going on. And part of it could be part social media, the media itself. Maybe they're making a bigger deal out of it and causing people to think they need to go buy toilet paper and buy every toilet paper and hand lotion and sanitizer.
Yeah, so people
and
have to stop at 10
water.
different stores to get stuff.
it?
So
This is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chris is trying not to
So
smile.
bringing
but he's
this,
making
so
me laugh.
so reeling this in a little bit to gaming.
Right.
This.
Guys.
No. I mean, look.
Well,
yes,
we're leading
we're-
up. I mean, it has
yeah, I mean,
affected gaming.
Look,
I guess
we
this
are.
shows we're real people, though.
Well,
like Pete said, this affects all of us in different
yeah,
ways.
I mean,
Our
look, we're
children,
we're a
schools,
video
you know,
game
Peter's daughter, everything. Yeah.
We're a video game show. We're a video game channel, but this is important stuff. I get it. I totally get it. This is really serious stuff, and so I'm glad that our chat room folks are hanging in there with us on this because it is important.
Well, I heard alcohol kind of helps, so I've been working.
Hey,
So-
if you were really brave, sir, you'd be drinking a Corona beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You,
thought about it.
Yeah, fight fire with fire.
that's right.
yeah.
So, but I haven't had a chance to, real quick. We haven't seen Chris and Frankie in a couple weeks, so
No.
we've missed the epic beard. They
Look,
missed
it's so far.
our
It's
wonderful
like Niagara
discussion that we're not
Falls.
having again last week.
I wouldn't say we missed it per se.
Oh, I
Oh no, yes. So all I could think of while we were looking in the Discord staff room, you guys were talking about, I'm like, yeah, where were you last week? Well, we could have had this out on air. John needed a tag team partner.
I needed help. Where were you, Frankie? Part time? God dang.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. So Chris, how are you doing, man? How are
I'm
you
doing good.
Yeah.
Been a lot of overtime at work right now, and
Yeah, I know that.
I haven't really been gaming much. I've been playing Witcher 3 on the weekends as much as I can, and I really love that game. I mean, wish I played it a lot sooner, but
Chris,
Yeah,
I like
I
your
guess-
Gears hat. I love that. That's awesome.
thank you.
I like it.
Yeah, I got this at PAX South. So, but yeah, and right now I'm playing a little bit of Pedro. So that's an awesome game. But other than that, not much. I'm probably gonna buy my girls Animal Crossing, the new one. So we're all gonna have fun with that together. So I look forward to that.
I hate to admit it, I've never played an Animal Crossing game, Chris, so you're going to have to, can you tell me a little bit, what's the story behind that game, or what's the gist? How is that game structured? I've never played Animal.
Well, you pick a character, and you kind of move into this little town. And the town consists, the people that you interact with are NPCs, and they're animals, different types of animals. It's a cute game. I remember playing it way back in the day on GameCube when it first came out.
It's something you can really get into, though. I mean,
yeah, I mean it's kind of cute. I mean, you can get a house and then you kind of work. You can go out and collect stuff. You can
is it like
craft
The
stuff,
Sims?
go fishing.
A little bit.
A little
Yeah,
bit?
a little bit.
A little
Yeah,
bit?
but it's more of a,
Yeah,
not a
you're
realistic, like that. It's.
It
you
has a
can
whole
fish,
bunch of stuff you
collecting-
can do.
Yeah,
Awesome.
there's so many little things that you can do. It's kind of fun, and you have goals to reach. And what's cool is that it has a kind of like a real time where it follows along with your seasons. So when it's Christmas time in real world, it's
Right.
Christmas time in the game.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it snows, so it moves along, and so it's kind of cool how that. And then there's like little events that go on in the
So
game.
that
you
kind of
can-
brings the audience in, or the players, that kind of, with the events like you're talking about, it
Yeah,
kind of
and so
makes them-
the first
yeah.
two Animal Crossings were more single player, but now this one, and now it brings multiplayer into it, and so now me and my daughters, we can actually, go on. And this one's about an island now, so
Oh, that's awesome.
you each can have your own island, and you can come together and play on one island and kind of have your own little community.
Oh, that's
So, and this one seems to have a lot of crafting in
awesome.
it. So,
Nice.
yeah. So it's a fun game. It's got a big audience, big following out there. So
I
yeah,
feel
look forward-
stupid for asking, but there's so many games out there, Chris. I mean, I just Animal Crossing's one of those games that I just haven't got around to, like delving into.
I'm not
or
sure
playing.
Animal Crossing would be up your alley though. You know, it's not
Okay.
for everybody. So
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
You
it's
enjoyed
kind of a time commitment.
you enjoyed Fat Princess.
Oh,
John.
I love Fat Princess. Mike blessed me with that code, and I started playing it. And I did a little Let's Play for that thing. But I'm telling you what, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, there was something about it that just, I don't know. I'm a big kid anyway, but I loved it. Yeah.
You like Stardew Valley?
I've never played
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Like-
Animal
like
Crossing is
that,
more
like
akin to
that.
that.
yeah. Mhm.
It's basically you're just trying to take care of like the city. Like you go out, you're digging up fossils, fish. Like you're filling out like the local
See,
museums, all
the
that stuff.
problem I have, and I'm, I love games that are large, that you spend hundreds of hours in. The problem is, we have games today like multiplayer games like Call of Duty. We have all these battle royale games. So all of a sudden, I find myself, I'm playing multiplayer in Call of Duty or doing these battle royale things or playing Battlefield 4 or 5. But then there's all these great single player games that come out. So I'm always torn because there's only so many hours a day. And you guys
Yeah.
can relate to this because we all have families and kids. So it's hard. There's some games I would love to play for hundreds of hours, but if I do, I miss out on some of these titles. So I'm always at I'm always at war with myself on how to manage my time with all these great games that are coming out. It's tough.
Yeah.
And there's a
Yeah,
lot of great
that's a real
Xbox games
work.
out. Ori, Will of the Wisps. We've got, the new Yakuza game, with the Justice game. We've got MLB The Show. We've got Neo 2. We've got games from Xbox,
Call of Duty,
Microsoft, and
Battle
Nintendo.
Royale.
Oh, yeah. So
Which is great,
it's
by the
real
way.
hard to balance your time. And I mean, Peter probably can agree with me even. It's real hard. There's all these games coming out at the same time that we all love to play,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah. So Frankie, it's good to see you. Beardless and all, we know.
Yeah.
I know you're so
I'm not into the beardless life. When you're outside in the wintertime and your work's like, yeah, you can't have a beard. It's like, that's my windshield. Why not?
You're winning.
Man. Look, you shave in the morning, you go outside, and it's just bitter cold out. It's 100 times worse.
You know what's
So,
funny, Frankie? I watched the podcast before, even when I wasn't on the show, and I can't remember you with the beard. I mean, to me, you're just Frankie. I mean,
That's
it's like you're Captain America with or without the beard.
Cool. I like Captain America.
Right. So I didn't even really notice that much, I
So-
I appreciate that. I noticed, though, and it kills me. So.
Frankie, you cannot have the beard because of work or just
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I drive for UPS, so they're very, you have to be very cookie cutter. So hair has to be a certain length, no facial hair. You can have a 70s porn star beard, or not beard, mustache, but
right, the bound chick
There
of
you
Wow
go.
Wow.
yeah,
Oh.
like, I don't know what good that's going to do anybody, really, like aesthetically or in practice, so whatever.
See, I just started my beard a week ago, and I'll get up to Chris's status, but Chris has a glorious beard. Look at that.
It does. Look
See,
at it.
that's amazing. I haven't
Yeah, I've
seen
been-
Chris in a while, but it's luscious. It's awesome.
I've actually paid to get it trimmed
Have you really?
the right way. Yeah.
You hit the point
Yeah,
where you
I-
got to start putting conditioner in it.
Now, let me ask you a serious question. When I usually go get my hair cut, I've never had them trim my facial. Now, Chris, when you go to the barber or you go wherever you go to get your hair cut,
Mhm.
I mean, you know how you like your beard, so if they cut it the wrong way, you're not going to be happy. So what do you normally tell them, like when you go to get your beard trimmed? What do you tell the person that's cutting your hair? What's
this is fascinating.
Yeah. No, I try to tell
Sorry.
them. I try to tell them that I kind of want a V shaped, right?
right?
So, you know,
Nice.
A
it's
V
like
for
from the-
victory.
Yeah, so like from the top,
Viking.
kind of blend it in and kind of a little bit shorter on the sides, and then kind
Right.
of the trim down to keep it
Yeah.
growing on the bottom.
Yeah,
So
'cause it starts sneaking up further up the face,
I
and
like it.
yeah.
starts getting
So
ugly.
yeah. So I mean, it's been a work in progress because when I first started growing it, it's like it kind of got wild, and it's like, well, how do I want to trim this, and how do they'd ask me, well, how much you want to take off? I'm like, I don't know.
You know
So
who you
it,
need
Well,
to
it's
talk
funny,
to?
without getting too nasty, my wife's like, your beard's starting to tickle me,
You need to talk to Lagnese, man. Rick's got an epic thing going on now too.
Right? It's all
Yeah.
about the beard oil. Now, I will recommend this. If you're growing out your beard, I don't like the wax. The wax will clog up your pores. The beard oil is okay. And you got your brush, and your comb. I don't mind the beard oil, but the wax, I'm not a big guy on the wax. I think it blocks your pores.
I got
Well,
this.
say,
It's like
Chris.
it's like a cream. No, it's like a cream that it
Right.
feels real good. It's like a conditioner,
Right.
and you put it in, you mix it in, and you kind of shape your beard, kind of brush it a little bit, and it lasts pretty much all day.
Awesome.
So it smells good too. So
Nice.
I finished
my wife.
Sunset Overdrive.
Hey, you
That's a
finished
great
it?
game, Frankie. Oh,
Yeah,
it's a
That's an
fabulous
awesome game. Oh my
I,
goodness.
give you a lot of credit for sticking with it.
So here's
Do you
my
guys
thing.
know Beetle Comment on Twitter?
Yes.
Alan, what's
Alan.
his?
Yeah.
Well, me and him, when the first Sunset Overdrive came out, I went and got all the achievements unlocked, and we played online for hours with Sunset Overdrive. That was my jam for a long time. I love that game.
So you beat
So
it, huh?
I did.
Oh.
So here's the thing. I started it when it came out, and I have a level of expectation with Insomniac games, right? Like the Ratchet and Clank games, Resistance. I love the stories in those games.
Right.
So it's kind of like buying Destiny. It's Bungie. You have an expectation for a story. You buy
Right.
Destiny, and you're like, "What the hell is this?" And that's sort of how Sunset Overdrive was to me when I bought it. So I ended up setting it down. I was like, I hate the main character. I don't care about the story. Like, what the hell is this? So that's why I initially set the game down. So I was like going through, like this year, I'm just pretty much hitting everything on the backlog that I can. So,
You need to play with me, Frankie.
oh, I'm already done with it. It's already deleted.
I know,
Archives,
but that, I
it's
mean,
free up.
maybe that would have helped because you're so late getting into the game because I played that when it first came out. But I wish I would have known. I would have played co-op with you.
Yeah, well, this sucks now because nobody's playing Chaos Squad or anything. So
Right?
you run
they're
by all the
not?
phone booths
Okay.
and just online 0. I'm like, damn it.
Well,
But anywho, so I decided, all right, cool. I'll give this another shot. I remember the gameplay being pretty fun, so maybe we'll just go on that. Because over time, you kind of learn like, all right, I just need to adjust my expectations for this game. It'll be fine, whatever. So I started playing it again, and I hate the way that they wrote the main character, but just the boss fights, the humor, the cool music, the ridiculous guns. Like, there's a lot about that game that I love. Like traversing the city after a
Oh
while.
my goodness.
did
Especially
you like
once
the
you get the air
cosplaying quest towards the end?
Did I do that
Do
one?
you remember that where it was more of like a cosplay and they were acting out like,
The Forgothians or whatever, where you're
yes.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of those quests I did end up liking a lot. Like there's Wendy, I think her name was. The bard dies in the middle of the fight and she takes over and she's like playing metal music and singing.
Yeah.
But I love the way that they did the boss fights and just traversing that world. Like I said, once you kind of wrap your mind around how to do everything, because at first you're kind of like, all right, well, I'm just kind of grinding along on this, and then once you get the air dash, though, like you can kind of chain together a lot easier, like going from rails, running along the sides of buildings, hopping back up on another rail, getting on a line, getting.
I thought the moves were pretty easy, Frankie, to pull off. Like once you get the system down,
Yeah,
like
once you get it
can
down.
go from doing the rails to hanging on things to jumping, and then you've got like all these cool ass weapons.
Oh, yeah.
And like you're blowing up people and stuff. And I thought the graphics, I thought it actually,
Well,
it was easy to catch on. I loved it.
It didn't open up really until you got the air dash.
Yeah,
Right.
and that was a big thing for me too. Was once you got that, that's when the game really started to feel good to play.
But you know what I love most about it? Like for Xbox, when that first came out, it was something different, and that was something that I really liked. That they got that game. That was an exclusive. I really liked the fact that was something that was totally different from anything else that they had out there. You know, so that kind of caught my interest. And Insomniac, they're good developers anyway.
Yeah,
but that game
that was
was
one of the things that
fantastic.
sold me on an Xbox was, okay, well, I want to play Insomniac's new game. It's only on this platform. Guess I'm buying on this platform. It wasn't even a question. It was, all right, well, when this game's coming out, you know, I need to have one of these systems. So it was like that and Quantum Break. So like,
Oh yeah.
I loved Quantum Break when it came out. I still think that game is awesome. But and it was Sunset Overdrive though, so I finished the game. I bought the season pass like back when it was coming out. It was one of those things
Right.
I bought before I played the game. So I was like, oh, I should probably play this out of, you know, the season pass stuff for that game is actually really good for the most part.
Yeah.
The Mully Rig DLC is really cool. Like it's set on this like oil ship that's, you know,
Oh,
further out in
that's
the ocean.
awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. So like the whole thing, you're going around, like there's a new weapon you can build. You know, there's different collectibles like these little UFOs instead of the little fizzy guys floating around. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
get those instead. And then just it culminates in like probably one of the coolest boss fights they have in the game. They just call
What you
it
need to do,
they just call it
Frankie,
the
you need to
DLC.
hook up with us. Like, I don't know, I've got all the season pass and stuff. Maybe some other guys here in the show do too. You need to hook up. Maybe we could get in some co-op if there's some achievements you want. We could play. Even
That's
if there's not
tempting.
many people online, there may be enough people here or, you know, watching us tonight that you may be able to unlock some of those achievements you're looking for.
That would be
K-
a bad thing.
Chaos Squad is PVE, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think isn't it like when you're cooking the amps, like that's
Yeah, it's
the
like a
idea
horde.
of it.
I thought it was like a horde mode.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a horde, and you can, you know, I forget how many, you can have what, 4 players, or is that, I
I think
think
so.
4 players? And there, you know, there's different maps, of course, that you go through and different challenges, and there's different waves of enemies, but it's kind of like a horde mode, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
how it was when you were cooking amps. Like you had to defend the
Right.
vats, and you're setting traps everywhere, and it's ridiculously chaotic.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But then I played the Rise of the Dawn of the Machines DLC.
Yes.
Right.
The
That was
only
my
thing-
favorite.
It was the funny thing to me is the end fight reminded me of the Bob Barbas fight from DMC.
Devil May Cry.
Yeah. So when you're in there fighting like this, you know, TV screen, I'm just like, okay, cool, yeah, this is
Right.
awesome. Like I think it was the community manager, right, Brandon, who they, you know, have him on all these screens of this boss you're fighting. But that mission where you're rolling around in a ball really pissed me off. That was
Right.
annoying because you had to like roll around, try to like charge up this ball and gather 1,000 nanobytes or whatever. That was annoying. But outside of that, I loved it. So I'm glad that I went back, gave that game another chance because now I want more Sunset Overdrive. So
Right.
Sony, I guess, make it happen. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
there's
They own Soundegg owns their game, so
they do now. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's been
So-
this, and there's always been this thing, rabble, Coop. There's always been this weird thing with people that think that because Microsoft published the first one that they own the rights to the game, and I'm like, no, I think what it is Insomniac's so busy with Spider-Man, and that stuff that they just. You know, they might do a remaster or something, or like a re-release of the first one, but I don't think they're going to go out of their way to do another Sunset Overdrive, because also you got to remember it didn't do that well, so no guarantee that it'll do that well on the PlayStation platform, and maybe they see
that's
that.
true. I mean,
Mike,
maybe if they
now,
try though. If they're
when
able to
that
do a
game came
re-release.
out, I was a big advocate. What was not only Sunset Overdrive, but what was that roller coaster game that Xbox had?
Scream Ride.
Scream
Yes.
Ride, yes.
Well, there were a couple games like Scream Ride. I was a big advocate of Sunset Overdrive. I was like urging everybody. I was like, man, you got to buy this game. I never understood. I don't know the sales figures because I don't keep track of all that stuff. But Mike said it didn't do that well. But man, I was really hoping. I mean, Sunset Overdrive was pretty awesome. I mean, all in all, I thought it was a great game. So I'm
Well-
really shocked if it didn't do well because there were some funny parts in it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I also think that. Go ahead, Frankie.
The achievement for finishing the game, I'm pretty sure was a rare achievement.
Yes.
Right.
So
the other thing too is that Sunset Overdrive was not a casualty of, because it did come out, but it was I think pieces of that game became a casualty of Microsoft, right turn colliding out of their original plans. Because I don't know if you guys remember that E3 when Insomniac was talking about the game, but because the Xbox was going to be this always connected, always on the internet, that they were going to dynamically build that game almost day by day. So the things that they were going to inject, they were going to do because the console had to be online. So because of that, they could keep pumping content into it, it was going to really be like the first real games as a service game. But then, Microsoft blinked, and then it really drove back what Sunset Overdrive was really going to be about, and it became more of a regular old. The only thing that really changed were the videos, the weekly videos that they did.
Yeah, the Sunset TV.
You know what's funny though, Mike? When I think back since the Xbox One launched, Sunset Overdrive though is one of the games besides Rise, Son of Rome. Sunset Overdrive is one of those games that stood out for me, and is actually like Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, Rise, Son of Rome, Sunset Overdrive. I loved all those games. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to force. I loved all those games. I thought they were great.
Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare is really where I kind of met Frankie.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought you guys knew each other before.
We played the crap out of that game together.
Well, how'd you meet each other?
I think it was over Plants vs. Zombies.
Possibly.
Oh,
wow. I know Twitter. I came on one night that nobody was going to be on, so I was like, nah, you're not doing a podcast by yourself.
No, I remember that. So that was
blast. I love that. But yeah,
yes,
we did play a lot of Plants vs. Zombies.
Yes, we did. That was great. I have not played Welcome to Gardenville, and I feel.
I just installed it on my Xbox.
Yeah, have you played it yet?
No, I'm waiting for somebody to play it with.
Okay. Is it in? Because I still I pay for EA Access and never use a damn bit of it. Is it in Access yet? Is it in the vault?
I don't know. I just bought it when it went up for pre-order because
if it's in the vault, I'm down.
I hope Chris brought me back a beverage too.
Speaking of beverage,
right?
We have our We have our product of the week that we need to get to before we move on. So, I myself have poured a nice wild cherry Pepsi. However, this week's product of the week, John. Oh, hold on. I gotta do this right this time. Last week I did it and you guys couldn't hear anything. So.
Oh yeah. I'd like to teach.
Yeah, so
that's all the hints I'm giving.
All right, John Techno Fabulous's product of the week.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves.
That guy scares me.
I'd like to teach
the
world to sing with me. Perfect harmony, perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world.
Wow, this is going back a ways. 1970.
Children of the Corn. On a hilltop in Italy, we assembled young people from around the world to bring you a message from Coke bottlers all over the world. It's a real thing. Coke.
Oh, that's
hill
awesome.
in Italy. Hey,
There
on
you
the
go.
hill in Italy, and now they got coronavirus.
Hey, Mike,
Where it started.
I appreciate you guys doing this little product of the week.
Oh, my God.
I know it's a little corny thing of mine.
Oh, we
but
did it. We had so much fun doing it before.
like all of us,
Tommy
like
said, "What the hell
especially
was
me,
that?"
you, and Peter, we go back, and I'm not sure, Chris, how old you are, but
45.
oh, so we're all
Yeah, we
about
all
the- I
saw
mean,
that
we're-
commercial.
We're all close,
Yes.
but
No,
some of
y'all
these
are
old
old as fuck.
commercials just bring back some memories, and
Yes.
I want to thank you guys for putting up with me and playing this. I mean,
Oh, that's what we did.
it makes
Hey,
me laugh.
look.
It puts a smile on my face, and I love
John,
it.
you put up with my calculator.
But it's not putting up. I love you, and I love your calculator. I have no problem with it.
I
No.
still remember that episode where you and I were talking about a Halo 5 sales, and I broke out the calculator.
Oh yeah, it is
Showed
the
it on
big
the
calculator. You know, like the old people.
The big
phones with
Windows,
big
the big
numbers
Windows
because you can't
calculator.
see.
It was so funny.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so that's our product
Chris
of
is
the week:
shaking
Hey,
Coca-Cola.
I have to bring this up because I just went on Twitter randomly and saw Silent Hill was trending.
his head. Right.
So
What?
there's a rumor that Sony has 2 Silent Hill games in the works. So there's one that possibly might be like with Kojima for Silent Hills, but then apparently there's a reboot that they have their Japan team working on, which has most of the original Silent Hill team on.
Yeah.
Because
That's
that's
kind of
like
been a rumor that's been tossed around for a while now. Yeah.
yeah,
We've been talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
'cause
doesn't Konami own?
probably, but I think they're at a point where they're just licensing their stuff out like Marvel. So
Yeah.
I mean, who the hell still works at Konami?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Thought I
Yes,
heard that they were gonna get Metal Gear
right. So
going too.
the chat room, John,
Yes,
now
sir.
getting into this because we've had a request for my buddy, and we've had a
Yes.
request for Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, I love Stretch Armstrong, man. You could take him and you could like pull his arms out and his
And
legs
twist
out. He was a
him.
little doll made out of like rubber, and you could like stretch him. Oh, that was wonderful. Yes.
Okay.
You love him and hug him and call him George.
When's the
Oh,
Slinky
Stretch
one now?
Armstrong was
Yes,
him,
Slinky. All
Stretch
right, so-
Armstrong and the Battlestar Galactica Cylons with
All right.
the red eye that would go back and forth. Oh my God, all those great toys. Yes.
Do you know one of those card holders on the back of your phone, Chris?
Oh yeah. No. Oh yeah. Yeah.
My wife has one of those. She swears by those things.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Amazon. Get it on
All right.
Amazon. It's cheaper.
Okay, this gets to some topics here.
We're getting
Oh,
rid
wait.
of
Yes,
getting rid
we're
of the
having
G
so much
in
fun
NLG.
talking. Mike, you
Right.
got to lead us into some topics. What's the first topic you want to discuss?
At the
And where's
coronavirus
Peter at?
canceled
Peter's
E3.
there. I love you. Where are you at? I haven't heard.
Coronavirus canceled all our topics.
Where's
Yeah.
Where's Peter at?
Peter's wondering what the hell
He's
happened
He's
to us.
There he is.
Yeah.
I heard him.
Yeah, he's
in Inkwater Marsh.
Yes, there he is. I got him.
so. Hey, Peter, how is the Call of Duty Warfare?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite battle royale games.
Yes.
They also have a cool mode
That,
where
like,
you
one
know
of
it's
one?
not where a circle is closing, but you have to get as much money as you can, and the team with like or the top 3 teams with the most money, there will be like marked targets and stuff. So a lot of
Peter, you and I can play because of crossplay now, correct?
Yes, we can.
Well,
Well,
why don't we
plus it's
set
free
that
to
up?
play, so I
Me
can
and you
play it
and
on
maybe
the
some of the guys.
PlayStation too.
Can we play sometime? Me and you, and I'd
Yeah.
like to play with you guys.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I'd jump in.
Is
I
it a
started
standalone?
downloading it yesterday.
Yeah, it's a standalone.
Maybe
now.
sometime this
Oh,
weekend.
I
Or
might try
Peter,
that.
you busy or you? I mean,
Anytime after 8 p.m.
okay. Well,
Man,
I'm
I'll
willing
try
to join
to
up.
set
If you guys want to play, I'd love to party up or at least play with you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's
All
do
right.
this.
So, so we started talking about the coronavirus earlier, and when I said I wanted to reel us into the gaming portion of that, so we know that the coronavirus has had an effect already on major things, and it did. It even though E3 is in June, and yes, Tommy, if you're wondering, yes, Coca-Cola actually had little trace amounts of cocaine in it at the very beginning. That's why they called it Coke.
Right.
Early days.
Anyway, so even though E3 and GDC got canceled, but nobody was going to GDC anyway because of this, so they just canceled that. E3 is a little more interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, E3 is already. Oh, you can't say that. We're not monetizing. So what are they gonna? What's YouTube gonna do to us?
Right.
Anyway, E3 is in June. They are reaching all the way out in June to cancel this because of their concerns. But I gotta ask. So, and I take it, and even though I'm Doomhammer on Twitter, he always teases me about this. That
yeah.
Whenever he says, whenever something gets said about E3 being canceled, he always goes, "Ha ha, stinger." I take no joy in it because I spent 10 years going to it. Does this between this and them losing their creative direction and Jeff Keighley not pulling out and the thing that happened last year and Sony not being there and all this stuff, and now all of a sudden they've got to cancel it, does this put the nail in the coffin for E3?
I don't know, Mike. Here's the thing. Here's the way I see it. I mean, you've got a lot of people that for years have watched E3 and they love watching the show and the new games, and that's perfectly understandable. Yet we live in this time where we've got all these streaming services and different things like that. Everything's digital and everybody's doing their own shows. I don't know. We may be getting to a point to where I wouldn't. It's hard to say. I can't say it's not relevant because that's not true. It is relevant to some people, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything. So E3 is important to some people, and then there's other people that But we live in this digital age where these gaming companies can do their own shows. Microsoft's perfectly capable of written out their own studio and doing some kind of broadcast, and doing things for their fans, just like Sony. I wouldn't say it's not. I wouldn't say E3 is not relevant, but I think we're moving in the direction. It's just kind of like the argument we had last week about the streaming. I'm not really for streaming games, but it seems to be that's the way a lot of people are moving to. And so I kind of relate that to E3. It's kind of the same thing. Maybe it's not what people are wanting, but I think we're kind of moving away from it.
All right.
That's my take on it, But either way, I mean, I would love to have E3 or not. I'm not really picking a side on this one.
Well, Microsoft has already said that they're going to figure out some digital, because they still need to talk about the Xbox Series X. This is where they were going to do it. So they're already moving to a digital event of some sort.
Right.
Peter, is this it?
Nail in the coffin? I think maybe now. I mean, the next one, they could retool it completely and make it more like a let's call it fan fest of games kind of thing. It's a gathering of gamers and have cool stuff but yeah, it will never be what it used to be.
Well, but don't we have PAX for that?
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, PAX was more about gamers coming close up with the developers, right?
Right.
I mean, when it
PAX
first started, it was all
more
about
indie focused.
indie games. Yeah, and it still is for the most part. And then you got a big section of board games. The last few years, PAX had some. You had Nintendo. Last year you had Xbox and PlayStation. PlayStation had a pretty good booth there, and Days Gone showed very well. But I don't know. I think this canceling of E3 and with Xbox and the others looking at doing some kind of streaming event, as far as the big publishers and all that, it may make them rethink spending all this money on E3 going forward. And I think E3 not. I don't think it's going to go away, but it might become smaller. But I mean, because it's in LA, you still got a lot of publishers out there, a lot of people that can still get together, kind of like PAX. They can still go to E3 and show off. Still, they open it to the public, so it can still be a thing, but it may never be what it used to be. What were used to, Mike, when you used to go. Before back in the day, it was more about media and the developers, and like some people were saying on Twitter how people, there used to be some backdoor wheeling dealing. That's how young developers people would show their game to some of these bigger publishers and be able to make a deal. So PAX has its use to where it can bring all these people together, and maybe going forward that might be the case, but it may not be the same, what it used to be. And maybe going forward, we might just get some Xbox and Sony and Nintendo might just rely more on having stream events instead of relying on E3 to do their big reveals. So, and then plus PAX, PAX East is real big. I wish they would show more in PAX South, but they just don't. Xbox and Sony and Nintendo, they just don't do it. PAX East is the big show for them. And Sony pulled out at PAX East this last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I mean. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with E3 next year.
Okay.
If there is one. So.
All right. Frankie?
Initially, I thought, that this whole thing wasn't going to be like that nail in the coffin for E3, but the more I think about it, and with probably Ubisoft and Microsoft especially kind of moving to their own fan base things or web shows or whatever they're going to end up doing, I feel like a lot of these, if these things are successful for them, like if Bethesda does some kind of streaming thing, Ubisoft, all these guys do this streaming thing, and they find that it's just as effective for them to just go and do their own streaming events. They're going to probably question next year, well, why should we spend all of these thousands of dollars going to this E3 show when, for us, gamers are going to get out there, they're going to see our trailers, they're going to see our stuff regardless. And that's, what we take away from it as, people who are not necessarily in the media or not retail outlets or any of that. So I think in terms of like the big, like, your EA, your Sony, your Nintendo, Microsoft, all these guys, I think they can get away from E3. It's the people like, Tommy and Television who have a new product that they're kind of trying to bring out that would benefit heavily from having E3, to, recruit people to make games, to show off, their products to, retailers who still go to E3, the press getting their hands on with this stuff at E3, the coverage that they would get from it. Those are the people who are going to suffer the most. Like, if E3 does end up going away because of this, because next year everybody decides, okay, we don't need to be here, so then no one's going to be going, funding's probably obviously not going to be there for it. So what happens to those things? What happens to the new consoles that need a stage like E3 to get some kind of, attention?
Frankie, this was my argument when we had our last podcast and when we were talking about like streaming only services. And my whole point was, I think all these things are neat, what these companies are doing. I think what Microsoft's doing, they're trying to engage more people to play. And I get that. And I agree with that, because as you move forward, you got to find new ways of keeping people entertained. You got to find new ways of bringing money in. So, but at the same time, there's a lot of us that we've watched E3 through the years, and it's almost like one of those tangible things where, and now that there's this fear of it being pulled away, and we're so used to every year watching E3s and getting ramped up, and and seeing people support their specific console and going to E3 and all the chatter. Now that's being kind of taken away, and we're moving into this digital age where things aren't so intimate. And that was kind of my argument on the last show, that there's just kind of this empty feeling, and this empty feeling that I think we're feeling from E3 would actually be the same empty feeling we'd feel as if there were no consoles ever again and things were just streamed.
Sorry.
So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Like, that's why I can't really make a call, because I enjoy E3. I like watching the different developers, Bethesda, Konami, all the different people getting out there. I like that stuff. So, I mean, I can't necessarily. I don't want it to. It's kind of like GameStop. I like having a video game store. I mean, sure, we can get on Amazon and we can order all the games we want. We can have it delivered to our house, but when we get the package, it may be beat up. It may have holes in it. Maybe the guy left it at the front porch, somebody stole it. I kind of like having a video game store where you walk in and you actually buy the product and you talk to the people, the people at that store, like the local video game store that we grew up with. So it's kind of this digital age we're moving towards, and I think that's kind of where E3's going, whether we like it or not. And I mean, but that's kind of, like, you guys know me, I'm more of a traditional guy, so I like the tangible things. I like my consoles and my games. I still like the E3. Of course, I can also see where it's not as needed. But I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are going to really miss it, especially people like Mike that actually spent time going and talking to people. And
and that's the thing, is it's the need, and honestly, that's the problem, is that it's not needed, is that it's not we're not in an era where like I say, every dude with a camera, with a cell phone, with a microphone, everybody with a cell phone is all of a sudden a citizen journalist and can take videos and stuff like that. And so,
but Mike, wouldn't you think, even if we agree that it's not needed, does that mean that we don't want it?
Well, no.
You see what I mean? It's a weird thing.
Totally with you. See that I totally agree with. That's why I wanted to make sure people understood. This doesn't give me any pleasure.
Right.
I this, to me, this is the end of an era. But at the same time, so what companies are trying to do, and I credit Microsoft for this, and I credited, I used to credit Sony for this, but I don't know what the hell happened to Sony with this, is that they were doing fan-based shows. So, Sony had the, whatever, let's see, it's been thank you, PSX, and, Microsoft had their Fan Fest at E3, and then they had their X 2019 that they had in Europe. So, that's what they're doing now, is they're getting away from engaging the media, because honestly, the media is going to cover them no matter what they do. But they can cover a tweet, and they can cover a YouTube video just as much as they could cover a live show. Right. And look, we're going to be right there too. They're going to do Microsoft's going to do a digital streaming event, and damn well we're going to talk about it. If we don't we did it with Nintendo. We actually live reacted to I think a
live stream
of a Nintendo Direct. Right. We streamed, we did a live react show of a stream, and so it doesn't matter from a media standpoint what the companies do. We're going to cover it. It
doesn't, but when you guys all agree, there's a little piece, probably because we're all about the same age, within a few years, there's a little piece of us that if there isn't E3, there's a little sadness there.
I'm very sad.
Am I wrong on that, or
No,
am I
and
the
as
only
somebody
one that-
who walked that hall, I'm devastated. I mean, I'm not happy about this at all, and I haven't been. But
Right.
it's the reality of things, and
Well,
you know,
unfortunately, too, with all this stuff going on, too. I mean, the bottom line, people's health, right? There's a lot of chaos going on, and the bottom line is people's health and families are more
Sure.
important, right?
and by the
So
way,
I'm sure Microsoft, even if they do a digital event, Mike and Chris, Peter, they're going to put on one hell of a show.
sure,
If Sony does, they're going to put
Sure,
on a
yeah.
hell of a show, and Nintendo's going to do their own quirky thing that they do every
Yeah.
year to year, and it's still going to be interesting. It's just going to be, I think it's going to be different this year. We just have to kind of like
figure it out.
understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think we will. I think we'll figure it out. I think it'll, I think it will work itself out. But so I'll be curious if we get a show in 2021. Now, obviously, on their webpage, they say, we thank everyone who shared their views on reimagining E3 this year. We look forward to bringing you E3 2021 as a reimagined event that brings fans, media, and the industry together, blah, blah, blah. You got to think about this, too. This is lost revenue for the ESA. I mean, this was this is lost revenue for them. Can they from a financial standpoint, can they? That's a big thing they got to look at too. So.
Well, I think what you're going to see, Mike, is when Microsoft and Nintendo and PlayStation do their own shows, though, gamers are going to be so hungry for games. You're going to see this influx of money. You're going to see pre-orders out through the roof.
Yep.
We're going to get past this coronavirus.
We'll
all get past all
But
this.
that money is going to go to Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. ESA isn't going to get anything because it's not doing it at their. So there's that too.
I guess the question is, would we rather the money go to Microsoft versus ESA?
Well, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess I would be in favor of that.
Yeah.
You know?
So, all right.
So,
So a couple of questions came in from the chat room that I wanted to grab. De Niro said, question for the panel. With Microsoft moving to a digital show, when do you think is a good time to do this? Same time as the E3 was.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't
I'd say
necessarily have
probably
to wait
June or
till
July.
E3. But do
Yeah,
they have to wait till E3? If they're already ready, let's say they've done a couple of run-throughs, and whenever they're ready and they're good to go, do they have to wait to that time period?
No.
Same date? I don't see why they have to.
No. And let me throw this out at you. EA has not announced an EA Play this year.
Well, I guess, Mike, it all depends on when these companies can get their consoles ready. We don't know, like right now, like with this coronavirus, like last time I checked, there were like between 1,000 and 1,500 cases in the United States. There's like 80,000 in China. And there's a list of countries, and they all have different amounts. So right now, we're just at the start of this. So, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is we don't even know if they're going to have the console numbers, if they're going to be able to manufacture these things and have them ready on time. So it is possible that these consoles may not launch in November even.
That is a real
I mean,
possibility.
I'm not saying that I'm not, don't quote me on that, but it is
Sure.
a possibility. With everything going on, it's kind of weird right now. So, I mean, we can't really guarantee that they're going to come out. So,
Well, I guess it
But it
depends.
might come out, but there might be limited supply too.
right,
Yeah,
there
that's
might,
true.
like Peter
Which
said, they may only have
maybe
like
which creates the
several
Nintendo
thousand,
effect.
you know? Yeah.
Oh, right, the Nintendo effect. Well, the thing too is we don't know when production starts, and
Right.
production could start in July, August, and we could be in the clear by then. So who knows?
That's true. We really don't know. Yeah.
Peter, when do you think they might want to do that? Do you think they should do it earlier than June, or get it closer to the launch?
I don't know. I mean, it all depends what they want to do. Do they want to have Sony come out first with a price, and then they can react? You know,
I don't
If
think
that's-
that'll be the case because Microsoft doesn't see Sony as a competitor, so that's why
Yeah,
they're
no, that's
doing
what
their
they're
thing. They don't
saying.
give a shit about what Sony's doing anymore.
Well, you know
So-
what though?
But I think Sony cares about
Yeah.
Microsoft, though.
They
Yeah.
do.
See, but Phil said that, and then he said 2 weeks later that he wants to beat the PlayStation. So I mean,
See,
you know,
I
wants to
don't
be
think
number
that
one, right?
Phil means that. I think it's all context. I don't think that. I think when Phil said that, I don't think he means he doesn't see Sony as a competitor. I think they're looking at, like we talked about last week, he's looking at Google, he's looking at Amazon, and they're looking at them as competitors in this streaming world.
Yeah.
And I think this is my honest opinion. I think Phil and company and Shannon Loftus, everybody Xbox, they're thinking, well, wait a second. We might want to get on this streaming stuff early because we don't want them getting a piece of our pie. Because if they get in there and their streaming services take off, that's taking revenue from what we could have. So I think Xbox is trying to be proactive in that manner. I don't necessarily think that they really need to worry about that so much yet because they've got so many great games and they've got a great console coming out.
But it's also not that it's not per se the streaming part.
Right.
It's them buying stuff from the Microsoft Xbox store.
Right.
Xbox in
So-
a broader sense.
So there
as
is a
streaming,
direct
on
competition
console,
there, like Peter
console,
said.
on
yeah.
PC, etc. That's where the money is. That's you
Right.
know.
So these big companies, like Peter said, are all like they're seeing this. I guess what I'm saying, these big companies are seeing this opportunity for money, and they're all kind of fighting over it.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there again, we don't know if what they're fighting over is going to be that successful, but they don't want one of these companies to get a leg up on them, basically.
Well,
Of course
so
not.
the other thing too is we were expecting to hear something about the PlayStation 5 supposedly
Right.
in February. So Sony hasn't said jack.
And I've got a theory on that, Mike. I honestly think with all this coronavirus, I wouldn't be surprised if I could be totally wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony and Microsoft had to delay their launch a little bit. Now, I mean, I could be totally wrong, but with all this stuff going on, with all the cancellations, there could be limited supplies of stuff. And this gives each of the companies a little time to prepare and maybe retweak their console or their specs of their console. So I think with Sony,
remember, Sony
they're
wasn't
just not saying anything. There's no reason to because I don't think they're really in a rush.
No,
I
they're
don't
not.
think they're quite ready.
And if you remember, they weren't going to be at E3, so they're
Right.
not. No, you're absolutely right. They're not.
I don't
in a
think
rush.
they're quite ready, Mike.
But-
and I think that with all this going on, they realize they've got a little added time to change some things if they need to.
I think
So-
after Ghost of Tsushima comes out,
To 26th of
I
July.
think they will be ready to start.
Maybe
yeah,
that.
Ghost of Tsushima comes out in July, right? No,
26th of July.
June.
Now,
June.
Chris,
So
No, hold on. Was it
Fastback
June? I
did
thought
a
it was
wonderful
July.
job.
June 26th.
Hold on. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I saw it because I just the tweets keep coming across my feed from
I
from Sony.
pre-ordered collector's edition of that bad boy. It's the first collector's edition I'm
well,
buying
Chris
this year.
is right. The other thing is, there could be multiple reasons why Sony has announced. They have got a lot of what people term bangers coming out lately. They've got, Neo 2, Ghost of Tsushima. They've got The Last of Us 2. It could be
Final
It could be
Fantasy
from a
VII.
company standpoint that they don't want to take away from the profits of those games and the reveal of that. And also with this virus thing going on, maybe they're in a position where they're like, hey, you know what? Let's just ride this out for a little bit. Let's get these newly launched games that are coming out. Let's give them the attention. Let's let people buy them. We're no rush. We may not even have enough consoles ready because of all this crap going on, I mean, that's at least my take on it.
Yeah.
And Xbox the same. They're not in any rush. I mean, this little time gives Xbox to tweak their console. I mean, it's not the worst. If, for
You know what this
example, let's
does?
say that they delayed either one of the consoles or both, it wouldn't be the end of the world, and it really wouldn't bother me that much
No.
because, I mean, we've got I want to do an unboxing later, but we've got beautiful games like Ori, Will of the Wisps.
Mhm.
We've got all kinds of games coming out from Xbox and PlayStation. So, I mean, they don't necessarily have to launch in November.
No.
I mean,
They
if
got
they delay a
Cyberpunk.
little bit, it wouldn't be the end of the
Yeah,
world.
Frankie, you're right. It was June 26th. I don't know. I just looked at the blog. You know what this does? This opens the door for the Amico.
Right.
Damn right.
Yeah, but except
does.
one thing is like they had a spotlight for I mean at E3.
I
except
know.
there's no E3.
All right, so
That's
Tommy,
a huge window
Tom-
of opportunity
Tommy,
that closes for them.
not necessarily, because look at this lovely space we have for him.
Yes.
He
true.
could do it right here on the show. He could do his.
Right.
We could have the Amico unbox. You know, the uncovering here on the NLG show. So,
I think
but I'm
Peter's
only
right,
gonna
though.
let him on. I'm only gonna let him on if he finds my damn Earthworm Jim manual.
I would have to agree with Peter 100% on this one, though. I think this hurts Amico and maybe Nintendo maybe more than anybody.
Why would it hurt
I-
Nintendo?
Well, I don't know because they're weird about how they show
They
their
do
things
they
anyway.
do
You know
digital
what I mean?
right. They do their digital directs anyway.
Right.
They honestly don't need E3 at all.
But like the Amico, that would have been a nice place, a time to show off that console. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think, some people may be like, "What's the Amico? What's that?" I mean, guys at work, I've been telling them about it. I'm like,
Oh, me
they're
too.
like, they're like, "You pre-ordered what?" I said, "Yeah, me and the guys on the podcast, we've all pre-ordered the Amico." And they're like, "What in the hell is that?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? That's the new Intellivision console that's coming out."
Yeah.
But they
Well,
don't
Mike-
know about it.
Maybe you can get Tommy to send you a Amico console to kind of show off around that time.
Yeah, because
around
That'd
June.
be nice.
now because
Yeah.
that's $70 lost, man. Without that book, my Earthworm Jim Sega CD isn't worth anything. So-
Maybe
Mike's
it was
got
a
that
manual short.
calculator.
He probably he saw it like, oh shit.
Tommy said, "Why are you
Where
talking
was
about my
this at?
girl now? That's her gamer tab, Miko." No,
Yeah. Add
Miko.
this to my collection.
All right, let's see. And by the way, for those who came in late before we had a chance to talk about it, while we were talking about it, I have your names in. Oh, why is that not showing the true wheel of names? I have your names in the wheel of names here, although these are not the real names. And John is giving away a $25 PlayStation card and a
Yes.
$25 Xbox card, and you guys will be. I'm going to spin this wheel at the end of the show for your choice of which card, and then whoever I'm going to spin it twice. So the first person's going to get their choice of card. The second person will get the other card. So,
And the reason we're doing this, we wanted just to thank all the listeners out there because we're kind of different than other podcasts. We may not always agree or not, but we tried to stay out of a lot of BS that's going on, and we're all friends here. But I personally bought these cards because I wanted to give something back to you. I wanted to thank you guys for listening in, and just to let you know that I appreciate you guys, and just to let you know that you guys need to follow Mike Mullis. He's put on a great show for years. I have the utmost respect for him and his show, along with Peter and Chris and Frankie. So if there's any podcast that you guys should listen to, I'd recommend this one because these guys actually care about gaming, and I love them with all my heart.
we love you too, John, and we're just glad that you're back here. Because you've been part of this show too, and you're part of this show again. So, hang on one second. This is what I wanted to do. I know it sucks sometimes having to do this in the middle of the show, but this is where it's going to be. Here's everybody's name I have so far, and I'm going to spin this wheel of awesomeness later, and we will pick a winner to get the first card, and then pick a winner to get the second. So just to let you know, it's there. All right, moving on. So another interesting turn of events that I don't know. I can't even make heads or tails of this.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So, hang on. Let me make sure I'm. Here we go. So, Reggie Fils Amie joins the board of GameStop.
Right.
What?
I know. It's crazy.
Can't believe it's not
seriously, what?
His body is hired.
Right, his body is hired. I mean, I guess when you've done all you can do at Nintendo, you go to GameStop.
Well,
I mean, we've known for a while that that GameStop has kind of been on a very head down, kind of downturn spiral, and there's been a lot of talk here and there, whether true or not, that GameStop was kind of on its last leg. They're losing money. Digital's taken over. You guys know that they've switched to they sell a lot of memorabilia stuff and sometimes collectibles and in some places retro games and stuff like that. So this is a very, I want to say, interesting move.
I've got a take on this, Mike.
I bet that you do, John. But before I get to you, I want to get to the man who has first-hand experience with GameStop. There he goes. He puts it. I want to hear what Frankie has to say about this.
Frankie.
So this kind of struck me like how it did when THQ brought on what the hell is that guy's name? Not Andy Gavin, the other guy from Naughty Dog.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name. I feel bad, but they bring in this guy who has the potential to right the ship, but while he's in the middle of doing that, it's just too late. Like there's a point where it's just too late to fix where your company is going. And I think that's where GameStop is. Like they've done enough damage over the years, not only with their employee culture, which, is all over YouTube. You have all these stories. I can attest to them. It's a company that treats their employees like they're used games they take in. They don't care about us. So it's kind of bittersweet to me because there was a point where any game coming out, I had pre-ordered there, and I was, I spent a ton of money there over the years. And I'm at a point now where I don't go there anymore. I refuse to go to the store. There's, as chuckling earlier when John was talking about, your local game shop and how you know everybody, but a lot of the people that I know have been either fired or kind of pushed out of the company because the sales just they're not there anymore. So instead of trying to find a solution, like GameStop just they literally don't give a shit about their employees. So upper management people, like they had people at that company who I felt deserved better. Like they're natural born leaders. They should have been in higher up positions than where they're at, but the company did not want to promote them because they have a very archaic way of thinking, which is why you bring in Reggie from Nintendo, a company that doesn't really understand how the internet works in 2020. So, I don't know. I think Reggie, I don't think he's the person to bring in to necessarily, save GameStop. I think he was great at being a face for Nintendo, but he's just a person on the board. He's not like a chair. He's not the main chairman. He's not the CEO. He's not somebody with probably the power necessary to fix the board. And, we saw last year. It was last year when GameStop tried to sell and nobody wanted them because they're not worth anything. But it comes back to that. Like, it's a company that if it doesn't just crash and burn on its own, I don't see anybody else coming in to buy them out or anything like that because, like you mentioned, they're shifting more to this, collectibles and memorabilia thing. They sell T-shirts. You walk in the store and it's just they have a whole section of action figures, Funko Pops, all this other stuff that's not necessarily games. And I mean, even you look at like Limited Run, for example, like they have a deal with Best Buy. So, like some of their Switch games are coming out of Best Buy. GameStop's not really pursuing anything like that, to my knowledge. This started their own, game publishing thing, which, saw, I think, what was that Insomniac game?
The Under the Deep or something.
Into
the Deep.
Into the Deep. And I think one other game maybe came out under the Game Trust label, and that was it. Like nothing after that. So I don't know. I think GameStop as a company is on its way out in an industry that physical media isn't the thing that people want. Like it's kind of a novelty. Like, people who buy vinyl records, people who still are buying CDs. Like those of us are out there, but we're now in the minority. And
people
that's
who love consoles.
I got it.
Get that shot in there.
He drew his blood.
Yep,
It's Blockbuster.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Blockbuster. You're right.
Sucks.
You're right.
It sucks to admit that, but we're in an age where physical media is the popularity of it isn't sustainable for a company that's only selling physical games.
Right. Well,
especially when you're buying games for $4 and trying to resell them for $55.
Well,
You guys are wearing me down. I don't even feel like living anymore.
And don't forget too that GameStop is not the only game in town anymore that really, I mean, look, Best Buy, Walmart, these big box stores that can afford to, take a hit if they don't sell as many games as they do, pairs of pants.
Yep.
It's and sometimes you could get stuff cheaper at those places, and companies are putting out like exclusive things to Walmart, exclusive things to Target, exclusive things to Best Buy.
Yep.
So
exactly. And I mean, don't get me wrong, GameStop still gets, some exclusive games, like they got that the Ghostbusters remaster. You can only buy that at GameStop. For a while they had Borderlands, but now I think that's at Best Buy finally. So they still have things here and there, but I also don't think they're doing well because of how frequently they go on sale. Like I ended up buying that Ghostbusters game for like $15, I think.
Right.
And they still have a shit ton of them. So it's like, who's buying them?
Right. And don't forget, I mean, Amazon is a big game site, and so it's funny because our brother Nate's in the chat. Yeah, he just said it. He literally just said what I was gonna tell you that he told us the other day. Amazon has better trade-in values than GameStop for many things.
Yep.
And that, is especially, I know we keep going back to the coronavirus, but if people don't want to go out and people don't want to go to the store because they're afraid, Joe Gamer next to them is going to cough on them, why not just buy the game from, and they don't want to do it digitally, they want to have the physical game, why not just buy it from Amazon?
What I do.
Nate's in the chat.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've been at GameStop. It has been a long time. Even
I
Best
went
Buy,
there.
I stopped going to Best Buy when they got rid of the Gamers Club Unlocked.
Yeah,
I used to love that.
I used to have that. It felt. I walked in there with my son and his friend the other day. We had gone out to the mall to, he was just hanging out with his friend, and first I went to the retro store and showed my children, showed my son what real games were, and then nothing. Wow. Okay. And then we walked over to GameStop, and I will tell you, and maybe it's because of all the corn pop and all that stuff that they sell, and the T-shirts and all that stuff. It felt foreign to me. It felt like it didn't feel like. So you got to remember that one of my jobs when I was younger is I worked for, when it was Games and Gadgets, and then became Electronics Boutique. So long before you had GameStop and you had Electronics Boutique,
My
and you
store.
and
My
you had
store.
and you had Babbage's, and those were your two competing.
Babbage's, yeah.
And then you had Walden Software, and then they basically we didn't have Funkoland where we were. No, we didn't have Funkoland here. So we had those three though. We had Electronics Boutique. I worked for EB. You had Babbage's, and that was the competition. I was dating a girl whose brother managed a Babbage's, so him and I would go to war whenever I came to her house. And then you had Walden Software, and then somehow Walden Software and EB got together, and then they just bought. I think they bought Babbage's. I don't remember what happened to Babbage's, and then it all just became one conglomerate, GameStop. First it became EB Games, and then it became GameStop. And back then, I mean, it was awesome. It was games. It was all that was everything. I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't a place for me to be in. Like I was too old to be in there. I honestly felt like I was too old, and that was weird. So I don't know
Isn't
what
GameStop own Think Geek also?
Yeah, they own them now too.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that
I'd
is.
rather go to Think Geek. It's
same.
Yeah, they have the Funko Pops, collectibles, and stuff like that.
That's
in the mall.
their brand for
Dirty J.
store.
That's the other one that we had. Software, etc. We had Software, etc. I mean,
Well, the big problem, Mike. I was
What about
at
what was
GameStop.
the other one? Egghead? No.
did we have Egghead Software here?
There's one here in DC.
I didn't have that one.
Did we have Egghead? I don't remember if we had it. The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember if we had one.
You're thinking of Eggman?
No. There was a store called Egghead. It was oh wow, Peter.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Um,
Peter.
Owned by Humpty.
Well,
So-
I tell you what, there's several problems with GameStop though, Mike. Like I went in last week. Now I've got that GameStop membership card. I can't remember what the name of it is actually, but it keeps track of all your points. I have 120,000 GameStop points. Now I went in there the other day to pick up a few items. So
You could
I
buy
thought,
you could buy a pencil eraser with that.
Well, before now you can only get up to like $25 of used items on the coupon, or you can only get like a $30 card. So you're limited one. So I've got all these points where I could buy all kinds of stuff, but I can't even use it anymore because the membership is so horrible. And you're dealing with a company that primarily makes its living off used games. So when you go in there, I mean, I remember even several years ago, I'd go back in there and I'd go to pick up the newest Xbox game or the PlayStation game, and they'd say, well, John, we've got a used copy for $10 less. I'm like, no, I want a new copy. I don't want a used copy. I'm sorry. I'm a collector. I don't like used stuff. So I want a new copy. But the used copies are only $5 cheaper than a new copy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and even if you go to trade in your system, okay, here's $80, here's $100 for your Xbox One X. Well, you might as well keep it. These are the kind of practices that have got them in money trouble. And I think Nintendo, to be honest, it's weird because when I found out Reggie took the role, he's going to be sitting on the board of Nintendo, it kind of made, on GameStop, it kind of made sense to me because I thought, well, what company stands to lose the most out of all, and it's Nintendo. I mean, they don't come down on their prices very much. They're not big into the online thing. They're not big on streaming. So they rely heavily on their toys, their Mario toys. They rely heavily on their game purchases. So to me, Reggie being in there, I can understand that from Nintendo. It's almost like they slotted him in there or would want to, even though he separated himself from Nintendo. That kind of makes sense to me. Because out of all the companies that would stand to lose, I think Nintendo would hurt more than anything. because you've got Microsoft and Sony that are, they've got their streaming PS Now, and you've got the Xbox Cloud, and you've got all these services. I think Nintendo is the one that's kind of behind the eight ball. They're more the traditional console, so I think they've got more to lose. So even though Reggie's probably not part of Nintendo, it kind of makes sense that he would be in there.
What you're saying is, and I joked around the other day about it, that all Nintendo products are going up front store, Xbox
Right.
and Sony are going to the back.
Exactly, Chris, and I agree with
Actually
you 100%, because what do you see when you walk in GameStop? You don't see all the games, you see toys. You see collector sets. You see Nintendo's recently, they're coming out with an electronic toy set that you play with, with different scenery and stuff like that. A Lego set. So, I mean, now when you walk into GameStop, it's almost sickening. What used to be Babbage's Electronics Boutique, which used to have all kinds of PC games, used to have Nintendo, whatever. Now, I mean, you've got all these toys and figures and Funko Pops. It's totally changed. So seeing Reggie in there really isn't a surprise. I mean, it is and it isn't a surprise. But I think Nintendo has more to lose than these other companies because they're kind of behind the times with things. So I think they would kind of rely on Nintendo, or on GameStop for sales. That's just my opinion on it.
To be fair, Reggie doesn't really work with Nintendo anymore, so it's not
right.
for them.
Well, supposedly he does it, but I mean, you know.
I mean, I understand that. Like that's a company he was at forever that kind of built his career around. But so I look at Gio the same way. He's working with Elphonic now, but he's still tweeting about the damn Vita. But
right.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure Reggie, like, the Nintendo itself is, like the brand itself is near and dear to him. But I also don't see like GameStop being an avenue where Nintendo's like an important brand. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
really
like
a shame, Frankie. I mean,
yeah.
Like for some of us old. I mean, I like the idea of having a video game store that you walk into, even a mom and pop shop. I like going in and be able to tangibly pick up a game, seeing a bunch of awesome games on display, Xbox games, PlayStation, Nintendo. I like that feeling of going in a store because even though you can get on Amazon and order practically anything you want to, you don't know if you're going to get your package on time. You don't know if when you get it, it's going to be damaged. You can't touch it. You can't see it before you buy it. There's a lot of ifs and maybes when you're waiting on this package. When you go into a store, I can actually pick up a game. I can look at the game case. I can look at the disc. Yeah, this isn't damaged. This is okay. Yeah, I'm happy. So I kind of, unfortunately, because of GameStop's practices, they put themselves in this position. But I really
you can
hope
go to
that
but you can go to Walmart and Best Buy and stuff and do the same thing. That's part
I
of the
know,
problem.
but it's kind of not the.
It's the other
It's
problem.
not quite the same thing, though. I mean, Walmart, when you walk into Walmart or Myers, I mean, they sell groceries and everything else, too.
Yeah,
So when you
but-
walk in there, it's not like a dedicated gaming store, I guess is what I'm saying.
GameStop is not a dedicated game store anymore either.
Yeah.
Well, no, not anymore.
Not
but
the same
that's
anymore.
what I'm getting
That's
at.
it,
They ruined it. But it used to be when Electronics Boutique and Babbage's.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When you walked in, you were enamored. You were like, "Oh man, this is awesome! Everything gaming is right here."
I used to love walking into EB. And when I worked there, when I got a job there, I was like,
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, pardon my language, but that was the shit. When you walked into Babbage's or Electronics Boutique, that was serious. I mean,
Yeah.
they had PC games, and how
That's
far
a reason for me to go to the mall.
exactly.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No, I didn't walk into like even before I worked for EB, I didn't walk in there or walk into Babbage's unless I had money.
I mean, you could take your girlfriend in there. You could buy an Orange Julius, and convince your girlfriend that you needed a game, and she'd buy you Hardball for the PC, and then
Oh
you'd
my
walk
God,
out.
hardball.
So I mean, those were the days, But now all that's gone, and now when you
Midnight
walk into
releases.
GameStop, you've got
Yep.
a Funko Pop retailer, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a shit.
Yeah.
those
ahead, Chris.
days, times have changed, and back in the day, I used to love going to GameStop and go to midnight releases and events, like when Halo came out and Grand Theft Auto. was coming out, and just seeing the excitement from other gamers also showing up. But as time went by, once we got into the online gaming and then the digital, it was like, oh, well, shit, I can just download
Now,
it, play it.
hopefully, maybe Reggie can turn this around. I mean, I always like to look on the positive side of things, but maybe he can turn this around and maybe GameStop can change and get back to whatever
it
is.
needs to buy a, yeah.
A viable, like Chris said, maybe it can get back to being just a dedicated gaming store like it used to be.
Hey, Jago, before you go, if we call your name in the thing, if you're the first one we pick for the card, which card do you want? Because I want to make sure, because we're gonna call two.
The red one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Peter,
know
I was
what?
actually
Why don't
just
we
about
do
to
that? So
mention
hold on, Jago, can you hang out for a minute? Why don't we do that now while everybody is still kind of hanging out? Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll go to the next thing. I don't want people that.
Let's go ahead and award them. Like,
let's do that. So Jago, don't go just yet. All right, I'm bringing up the wheel of names.
Yes.
All right, here's the
Clean
wheel of
shake.
names. Now, I'm
Clean
going
shake.
to make sure that this is completely random. So up here is everybody's name that is in the chat right now or has been in the chat tonight. If you are still in the chat, you're going to win. All right?
Except for Coop.
I have Coop in there. He's right there. He's in the red.
He always
No, I
wins.
took him out.
His name's gonna come up twice. Just give him some
So-
now.
No whammies. Come on,
Yep.
Michael. No whammies.
So before I do this, I'm going to click shuffle. And just to make sure this is completely random,
Right.
I'm shuffling the names around before I spin the wheel. All right? And I'm shielding my eyes. I am closing. See my eyes? My eyes are
Yeah.
closed. I am
The
not
winner is
looking. I am not looking.
HTK.
You're not in there, HTK.
I knew it.
All right? Ready?
He's shielding his
Okay.
eyes, people.
I am shielding my eyes. All right, good. Here we go. I'm going to do it a little more. Shielding the eyes. Shield, looking away, looking away, looking away
So
now.
does it not spin?
It does. Ready?
Spin it. Spin that bitch.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here you go.
And the winner is...
Price is wrong, Bob.
come on! Invader! Is Invader still in the room?
Vader.
Is he still in the room?
You got to be in the chat.
I hopefully you hung out. Invader, if you're still in here. I kind of figure Invader would probably get the Xbox card.
Most likely, yeah.
So, all right. Well, what I'll do is I'll ping him on Twitter and say you're the first one. What I'll do is I'll get the two winners into a private chat and say, hey, Invader, you were the first winner. Which card do you
But
want?
he's not here, so he gets.
That's true.
left.
He's not here. So, all right. So, panel, I need a vote. So, do we give it to Invader because it was here earlier, or do you have to be in the chat right
I
now?
think you have to. You have to
It's
be
up
All
here.
right, hold
to
on,
you.
hold on,
It's
hold on.
up
We'll
to-
do this
it's up to
democratically.
Peter
Hold
and
on, hold on,
Chris.
hold on. We'll do this democratically. Peter,
I don't know what we said at the beginning. If you had to be in the chat, I thought we did.
I said you have to be in the chat. You have to be active.
Look,
I have to be
anybody
active.
could just
Well, then
come
he's
in
not
the
here,
chat,
so he's
say hi,
eliminated.
All right, Chris. Hold on, Chris.
I say in the chat active.
Okay, John,
I say in the chat active.
Frankie.
Dilly dilly.
All right.
Dilly dilly.
All right. So I'm taking him out. So he's no
Sorry,
longer.
Vader.
All right. Someone had to go because it was 2 a.m. That's true. So Indie and that. So all right, hold on. We got to do another vote. Do we keep Indie Gamer in there? He was in Europe. He is one of our stalwarts.
So he's 5 hours ahead of time.
Yes,
So wait, who would you have? Invader? Is Invader in the U.S.?
he is.
Yeah.
Canada.
For Canada.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, then we
Canada.
can't rule out what's his face because
Yeah,
then I mean
Graphic
either they're
God
in the
had to,
chat or
yeah,
they're
because
not.
Graphic God had to go too.
Okay.
How many people do we have in the chat?
Let's just
now?
all right. We'll spin again. We'll spin
All right.
again.
Hold on, I'm going to do the shuffle.
We got to have shuffling members that are in the chat currently.
Yeah, but
This
if you had to
is a-
go to bed because it's 2 a.m., it's not really fair to disclude
Yeah.
him. So
Well, I mean,
All right,
you
hold
got
on.
to play to win, you know.
Oh. Dreadpool, and I know Dreadpool's in here. I saw him
Oh,
earlier.
Dreadpool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Dreadpool, you gotta tell us you're here.
Coop says everybody's a bot. He's the
Yeah.
only active. The only active bot.
Dreadpool's one of the guys. He's in here every week, Tommy. Come on, Dreadpool.
I saw
talk
him
to
like
us.
few items up, so unless
Yeah.
he stepped out for a smoke.
Come on. So we'll give him a minute. I know he's here. He was just here. So we'll give
Yeah.
him a minute. There he is.
There he is.
So he's getting the Xbox card. So congratulations, Dreadpool. You're getting the. Jacob said Dreadpool left. All right. So Dreadpool is getting the Xbox card, and I will mark that down. Oops. I have you on
Dreadpool.
Twitter, so all right. So that is a $25 Xbox card. Congratulations. Now, this is for a $25 PlayStation gift card. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Eyes closed. Looking away, looking away, looking away now. Okay. Shuffle, shuffle, and spin. Here we go. The winner of the $25 PlayStation gift card is Born Distracted.
He was here earlier.
He was here earlier.
Earlier.
All right, Born, are you still here?
I was
We'll
distracted.
We'll give him a minute. We'll give him a minute to say you gotta be. I agree with this. You have to be here to win.
Yeah.
Especially if we got two cards like this, then I kind of get it. If it's one card, then maybe we kind of But I get we got choices to make here.
Well,
So-
I didn't know when I got the cards. I didn't know what to get. I know that there may be people that own both consoles or one or the other, so I didn't. I got one of each.
That's perfect.
It
I
makes it
think
exciting too.
Born is distracted. He's not here.
All right, well he's got another
go.
minute to say, or I'm gonna remove him. We're gonna draw again. So
Like Peter would say, off with their head. They're
1,
not
2,
here.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 people on the list, and Graphic God had to go because he's an hour ahead, and Indy had to go because he was 2 a.m. So
We may have to do the next giveaway like a little bit earlier, maybe.
we might have to. Yeah, but then you know what? We do the giveaway, and then everybody leaves.
Yeah, you gotta keep him.
All right.
So-
Sorry, Born.
Next.
Next. Sorry. Gotta stay with us a little longer. All right. So we're down to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're down to 10, but 2 of them had to go. But I think we have to make an exception for those who are ahead of us in time. So, Dreadpool said Graphic God's in his time zone. Jay. All right.
He did say he had to get up at 6 a.m. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Shuffle, 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 and spin. No whammies. Spin. Here we go.
The winner
Uh-oh.
is
Nate!
Not the red
Oh, it's really rigged.
Oh my
Nate's like-
goodness, Nathan!
Nate's like, PlayStation code.
I know, right? What's he gonna do with a $25 PlayStation gift card?
He'll
I'll put
trade
it
it
to
in
use.
GameStop and get some more GameStop bucks.
All right. Congratulations, Nate. Hey, I like this. I like this wheel of names thing.
I do. I wish that we could get there's a visual one that we could get on the podcast. It's awesome. That shows the members' names and everything.
Very nice, Nate. Very nice. So thank you, John, for supplying the cards tonight. That was
Oh, you're
awesome of
welcome,
you.
man.
Very much, and congratulations to Nate and to Dreadpool. I will DM you guys what I'll do is I will DM you a picture of the back of the card, so there's no, so you guys you get it from the back of the card and not from anything.
Because
any
we can read your
mistyping.
chicken scratch.
Yes. So for any mistyping. So, okay. Next on the list, I want to bring John up here to the top. This is a John show tonight because he has something to show us.
Oh yeah.
All right. So hang on. Let me get you. I'm gonna move you up. Look at this. He's in. He's out. He's in. He's out. So let me get you over here.
It's funny. The only person I've been able to see this whole podcast is Chris.
It's the only one you
Hey.
need to see.
So
That's
right.
thanks, hey Jago. Thanks for hanging out, brother.
And my beard.
And as
Appreciate
always,
you,
next
Jago.
time we do love you.
Appreciate
So-
you, Chief.
And appreciate you too, Chief. And thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us for a bit. So if you guys want to check it out real quick, this will be the last thing on our list for this evening. Is going to be a special presentation from Techno Fabulous. Take it away, Techno.
Oh. Well, today I was eagerly awaiting my Ori and the Will of the Wisps collector's edition. So I thought I'd do an unboxing video. This is going to be kind of generic. I don't know if you
That's
guys
okay.
can see this very well.
Yeah.
Look at how he pulls it off like it's a.
Look,
By the way, this isn't
the packaging is very nice. Now, what's that guy's name? Last name with the P with the Xbox that designed the Xbox Slim. What's his? What's the guy that was? The guy that was in the designing of the Xbox Slim, and he showed it off, and he had the nice lingo that went with it. You know, his verbiage was awesome. It started with the P, I thought. The guy that helped
Oh,
design that.
Panay, Panos Panay.
That's it, Panay.
Oh,
Yes, Panos.
yeah.
In honor of Panos Panay, when you open this up, this is really a high quality package. I mean, it's sturdy, it's awesome. And on the right side, I can open this up and pull this out, and it's Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's a booklet about the game, and inside it's got color illustrations, which is pretty nice, and gives background stories on the characters and the story and the making of the game. And it's got that new car scent.
Cool.
A new
So
car set. De Niro picked up on it. I was doing a little porn music in the background.
It's awesome. Yes, and I've even got my porn mustache going on. And here I've got my steelbook case. And when you open this up, you got a little staggered setup here. You've got the Ori and the Will of the Wisp disc. And behind it, you've got a disc which contains all the piano music and the orchestra music. So this is kind of what's involved. And you actually have a digital download of the music also as well. So this is what's in the collector's edition. But it's the packaging is awesome and the game's great. And to be honest with you, I love the first Ori and the Blind Forest, and I can't wait to play this game. But the first Ori was really special to me. The music, the heartfelt story, I loved every bit of it. So when I get a chance, right now I'm playing Days Gone. I've got to finish, but as soon as I get that, I'm going to jump into this. But I'm real excited to play this. So, kudos Microsoft The packaging's awesome. The game's going to be great, and I'm excited to play it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, I got it all ready to rock too. You know what's interesting though is that I'm still somehow I got stuck on playing Bloodstained,
Really? Yeah.
the Ritual of the Night, and I shouldn't. And I shouldn't because Ori and the Blind Forest came out, but I'm kind of there. The game is really solid. So it's also in Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, also get a look at that. So
I just couldn't. I couldn't
Yeah,
resist. Mike.
no,
I mean,
that's beautiful.
The packaging is beautiful, and I mean, this is one of those games like sometimes whether it's the Nintendo, PlayStation, or Xbox, sometimes the exclusive games that I think are going to be really awesome titles. Sometimes I don't mind splurging a little bit to get in the hard copy, the collector's edition. This is something that I'm sure the game's going to touch me deeply, and this is something that I'm going to treasure for a long time.
I was gonna say while I'm humming porn music. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say, you should put the music on newsstand for the
Yeah,
show.
right. Don't.
I just bought the Ori soundtrack for $15, I think, off of his Bandcamp page.
such
I can't wait
a-
to listen to it. I love the soundtrack for the first game.
Oh my goodness, Gareth is the man.
Yeah, he did Darksiders Genesis also
Yep.
an excellent soundtrack. So
No.
check those out.
Peter, you started the game, right?
Yes.
You
It's
started
good.
it.
Love it. So far.
Give us a little Peter insight.
Oh wait, I gotta go. Here, I'm gonna go to the rest. I don't want to hear anything. I gotta go.
Oh,
I'll be
true.
back.
Because all right,
When you gotta go,
okay.
you gotta go.
Can you give us the spoiler-free insight?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean it's
Okay.
it's like it's it's pretty much like the first Ori, at least so far. And I mean it's didn't get that far yet, so
I installed it.
Yeah, I have it installed.
yeah, halfway there. No.
You already unlocked the double jump.
I unlocked the double jump. Yes.
So you're at least 40 minutes in.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, I keep pausing it, so it's like
2.5 hours in.
It's like 2.5 hours, but the first true level, like in Guatemala, I'm like 70% done. For what it's worth.
Nice.
You
But yeah,
feel like it's just
in,
as hard or harder?
I can't quite remember the first Ori, except
First one was brutally challenging at times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and with the first one, did you get this different abilities that you have to equip and stuff, or your different fighting mechanisms and stuff?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
And so-
didn't play
Repeated.
too much of the first one. I know
Well,
I know they got rid of the soul saves or whatever. So
Yeah,
I know they got rid of that.
it's quite liberally. So each time you die, it's like you don't lose much progress, which is good.
Da, 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 da.
All right. John,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
have to download
he
it.
ruined the
Check
whole
it out.
game.
Need a wrong turn.
I didn't
Go, like,
want to
super
hear.
hard and have-
I don't want any spoilers at all. I mean, I know I'm going to love this game, but I knew if I listened to Peter, I'd get all excited and I'd learn some things maybe I didn't want to know yet.
Nah, I think if you've played the first one, you know what you're getting into.
Right. Peter, I do have one question. How's the difficulty level? So, how would you compare it to the
Nope.
first one?
I don't remember the first one. Well, the first one. Well, what I remember is the first one I made a wrong turn, and then I didn't have certain abilities, so
Right.
that was like super hard, and that's when I gave up.
Oh.
But this one so far, it's been going okay. It's not. I mean, there's some challenging things in there, but not like super hard.
I remember the first one. You probably remember too, Peter. There was a level at the or close to the end where the water level, I think, was rising, and you had to keep jumping and moving towards the top.
Right.
That was pretty challenging there. I mean,
Right.
the
I haven't
timing
had
had to be
levels like that
perfect.
yet where you have to, well, you get chased at one point by a creature, so then you have to hurry up a little bit. But it's not like too crazy challenging.
Right.
I think later on in the levels it might get more challenging.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna get started with it
But
this
it's a
weekend for
beautiful
sure.
game. The graphics are tight and music is good. A whole nice, good package.
Jeff just said Game Pass, and that reminds me. I tried out Jump Force.
Oh, I saw
Yeah.
this on
Oh,
What
yeah,
Twitter.
a
we done it.
fucking
Oh yeah,
terrible game!
that's an experience.
My
Yeah.
God,
It's
look,
crazy, isn't it?
it sucks. I hate
8-bit
it.
mayhem. Yeah.
And wasn't this the game that Bandai Namco was, was really like pushing at E3 last year as the big,
Yep.
not last year, 2 years ago
Yeah,
as
the year before. Yep.
as the
That was their
big,
big thing.
yeah, they were
Yeah,
trying
it
to
was
make it,
last year. It was at PAX South too.
yeah, but I
I
mean
don't know,
well,
but
it
it's
came out
That
at the end of
obnoxious.
2018.
I thought that was Kakarot. Because that one came out this year, so that was
Yeah.
their push last year, and that
Yeah,
game apparently is really good.
Jump Force came out in
That's what I'm
October of
hearing, yeah.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
that game
Okay.
sucks.
Yeah. This was supposed
So-
to be like half, what was it like half Power Stone, half Team Battle, something whatever.
Yep. It is. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So look.
I saw it at PAX South, and when I looked from it, I was like, yeah, nah.
I really hate the voice actor they have for Goku. His voice just grates on my nerves. But it's like if you're gonna be a single player, I'm playing offline. You can do, online shit. I guess somehow, somewhere. I don't know. But there's a hub world that you have to go to get the missions to keep playing the game, and it's not very clear. And maybe it's because I skipped all the cutscenes because I just don't care. I just wanted to play the game. Not for the story because it's gonna be dumb. So I was like, I just want to go fight people with anime characters and it'll be a good time. It's not a good time. So, but from what I'm gathering, you have to do like these free roam missions. They're basically 3-on-3 fights, and level your team up to keep playing the story. And I got to the end of chapter 2, and it's a boss fight where the guy keeps regenerating or something. So you get to like a third stage with him. He does a ridiculous amount of damage, and I'm just like, so am I supposed to go back and level up past whatever level I'm at? Like, I don't. If you're gonna be a single player campaign, you need to make your game so that I don't have to go and dabble with all this other side shit that I don't want to do. And if you're gonna make me do that, make it part of the story so that I'm doing it out of necessity and not because it's over here. I'm like, okay, well, that's not something I want to deal with. I just want to play through the campaign. It's just the game sucks. I hate it. So I got to the boss
Some
fight.
of these
like,
games
no.
they don't make it clear, Frankie. I mean, I don't mind
Yeah.
I don't mind a challenge, but you need to make it clear you need to be at this level before you take
Yeah.
on this boss, or
And
you need to have some kind of a little bit of structure to the game.
yeah, it doesn't have that. And I mean, there's difficulty levels for each thing that you're picking, but from what I can tell, the key missions or whatever it constructs like the story together doesn't have a difficulty tied to it on that screen anyways. So I'm like, okay, so and you don't get a lot of XP doing a lot of these fights. Like you get a lot of the XP from doing these free roam fights that you bump up the difficulty and you start seeing a lot of experience points rolling in. But that's not how I want to play a game like that. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you have all these anime characters, so you'd want to play it for the story, which I said I'm not doing as it is. So, because I just got in there, I just wanted to play and beat the crap out of different
I've got a
anime
question.
characters.
Do you like from what aspects of the game you do understand? Do you like the combat of it, or is it
Yes.
mundane, or do you actually like what you do understand?
The combat is very basic. It's a lot
Right.
of moving the left stick up or down and rapidly tapping the X button to beat the crap out of people. So it's a lot of it's not a deep mechanic system, but like
Right.
there's special attacks. You like have charge attacks. You hold down the right trigger. It brings up like these different attacks you can do with that. It's very basic, but it feels good. Like,
Okay.
when you're an evenly matched match, it feels good to play.
Right.
It's just the way that it's structured is very off-putting. So it's very hard to want to keep getting into it, especially when you jumped into it not really giving a shit about the story. So
At least
Okay.
you're honest.
but I don't know. I'm just glad I was in Game Pass. I'm downloading Metal Gear Survive also because
Oh.
I know a lot of people use Game Pass as like their primary way to play games now, which is fine. I'm not, not knocking that, but for me, it's like I didn't want to buy this game for any amount of money, and they put it in the service that I'm subscribed to, so I'm gonna try it this way, because that way I feel like I'm not buying a game that I already had a bad vibe about. So trying it out in Game Pass, I'm like, okay, I played it. I was right. Screw it. It's never
Well,
happened.
from what I've heard from everybody, I haven't tried that Metal Gear game, but if you're expecting a Metal Gear game, I would expect anything but that and just
I'm not.
approach it as a different type of game altogether.
Oh yeah, that's where my mind's been with it the whole time. Kojima was involved with it, so I'm like, all right, well, this will be something different with the Metal Gear name, whatever. I'm curious about it, but I was like, I don't want to pay $60 for this shit. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with that one at least though. So that's the next one I'm gonna check out. And if I end up liking it, I'll buy the game. That's what I've always done.
Right.
Basically I'm using it as a demo. If it's something I'm playing,
Sure.
I'm enjoying, I'm gonna pay for the game. I bought Sea of Thieves, I bought Crackdown 3, like all these
Right.
games are in Game Pass. I end up buying anyways
Right.
because I like them.
Well, you
And
enjoyed
Crackdown
all
3,
of them. Yeah.
yeah. And that was really the great thing about Game Pass for me was with Crackdown 3, like I was so wishy-washy on it because the pre-release footage for that game coming out, like I'm like, I don't know. The game comes out, I'm playing it in Game Pass, I'm like, this game's fucking awesome. Like I love Crackdown 3. So I went out, I bought the game. Naturally I did digital because it's the main thing I do on Xbox because I game share, but Nate actually sent me the Steelbook. I think it was for my birthday last year, like a late birthday present, but the Steelbook is one of my favorites. But I don't know. I think there's definitely value in Game Pass, and being able to kind of check out games that I wasn't gonna buy is one of them for me. So
I love that about Game Pass. Love that about Game Pass. So as we're getting on midnight, I know, John has 3 hours of sleep before he's got to go to work. So
Right.
I wanted to, and I don't know. I think we're kind of out of time to have a real heavy discussion on this. So I think we're gonna, because we had some great conversation tonight on and of course talking seriously with our good folks in the chat about staying safe and things like that. And next week I want to get into the Sony games getting into PC. I almost said getting into Game Pass. Oh my god. Sony games going to PC. So we're going to table that conversation till next week. That'll give us that'll give us a good topic to talk about and give everybody a chance to kind of get their thoughts together on that. But before we do head out for
I'll
the
also
evening,
be able to give you a little preview of, I don't know if Peter got it, but MLB The Show. I got I got the digital deluxe version, so I get to play that starting tomorrow or after
nice.
midnight tonight. So I'll have that Neo too, so I'll be able to give some first-hand impressions of those two games.
ooh, I gotta go
also.
pick that up tomorrow.
I didn't
GameStop called me on Wednesday to tell me that Neo was coming out on Friday. I'm like, I know, I pre-ordered it. That's the only thing I pre-ordered. I know, but they called me Wednesday. I'm like, okay, thanks, I guess.
So I've got Ori, Neo 2, MLB The Show, and I've also got the Call of Duty Warzone that I'd like to hook up with you guys to make. So there's four things like just right off the top of my head I can think of that I'm kind of interested in playing real soon.
Okay.
Doom's coming out, man.
Doom's coming.
Oh, Doom Eternal? Yeah.
Yes.
The game of the year for the next 3 years.
No, it's
That'll be my game of the year for 2021.
Yep.
So,
Calling it now.
yep. I can't wait. I can't wait for Doom Eternal. Oh my god. So, all right. So, before we break for the evening and get everybody rolling into their weekend, do we have anything else that you guys want to talk about?
Well,
Mr. Shifty is another game that isn't as good as it should have been.
Mr. Shifty.
Mr. Shifty. I was going through my the games I have installed on the Xbox the other night, and that one popped up, and I was like, I kind of wanted to play this, and I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I'm playing on the X. There's not a lot going on at any given time, just based on other games like it you've played, like Ruiner, for example, comes to mind. It's like an isometric top-down, like you're going through punching the shit out of people. You get hit once, you're dead. It's one of those types of games. Cool concept. Early on, a lot of fun, but it wears out its welcome as you get towards the end, because then it's just go through all these floors with tons of different enemies again and again and again and again and again. Good luck. But the performance on the X, especially in some of these more annoying levels where there's like a laser slowly going down and you have like 8 enemies on the screen, it stutters a lot. And in those moments when you're kind of because this whole thing is like he has this ability where he can sort of teleport, like a charged teleport. You go behind people, you punch the crap out of them, teleport, you go through walls, all that crap. So when the system is like hitching a lot in one of these more intensive fight scenes, it's easy to die because a lot of the people, you're fighting guys with guns, and like I said, one hit you're dead. So you maybe you're thinking you're going this way and the game stutters for a second and you're over here, but then there's another guy that you didn't see with a shotgun who's about to blast the shit out of you, and it's just like, I don't understand why this game has so many performance problems on the X, because like this, given other games like it that I've played that have a lot more happening on the screen at a time, this game shouldn't have these types of problems. And even levels where it's just a bunch of guys on the screen, like, you're in a room and there's, like I said, 6 other guys like chasing you down, it's still stuttering, and there's no lasers. It's just a regular floor layout, and you're doing your thing, trying to phase around walls and punch these people from behind, all that shit. Like, the fact that it struggles with even like a basic level like that, it's very off-putting. I don't understand why it's a thing, especially given the type of power that thing has. So, please fix your game.
The developer needs to patch it, yeah.
Please, for the love of God, fix your game.
Well, I guess the only thing I'd have to say is everybody be careful out there and stay safe. And I hope nobody contracts the virus or whatever. Just do what you can to protect your families. I've been playing Days Gone. Before I get in Ori, I've got to finish this up. I was going to do it this week, but I've been so busy at work. Like Chris, my game time this week has just been obliterated. My wife's birthday's tomorrow, so I probably won't be able to game until Saturday or Sunday evening. I've got a few hours left.
I got it too. Oh, you're still sealed.
Still sealed.
Dang.
Right. So I've got Days Gone. I'm real close to the end, and granted, there have been a few glitches now since I started playing late. I didn't play it when it first came out. I'm actually really enjoying the game. I like the characters in the game, going through the different camps, killing the zombies. There's tons of missions to do. There's upgrades on your motorcycle, everything from better exhaust pipes to better brakes to tires to getting better levels of nitrous where you can speed up. And then you get all kinds of different weapons, from shotguns to handguns to assault rifles that you can use when you're slaying your zombies. And then you get to learn how to create different types of not only Molotov cocktails, but flashbangs, smoke bombs. You get into all kinds of stuff that you can use. And when you actually get to fight a horde of zombies, that's when the real challenge is, because, they start coming after you, and there's like hundreds of them. And it's like, my God, what do I do? So you kind of have to do kind of a little rinse and repeat thing. So I've got all these kind of special bombs made up. So I'll try to get the zombies trapped in a little area, and I'll throw a couple bombs in there and ignite a few of them. Then I'll run off and hop on my motorcycle, drive away. And then they'll kind of wander back to their area, and I'll kind of come back. And you got to slowly take them out, especially if you're playing on a higher difficulty level. So I'm actually finding the game quite enjoyable. It's far from perfect. It's got its glitches, but it's interesting enough. And for a zombie game, I'm not usually a game guy, but like Dead Rising 3 on the Xbox was like one of my favorites, and Left 4 Dead. But this game is another zombie game that I just absolutely love. And you can sit back and play and enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun.
I was one of those people flying that whole zombie fatigue flag for a long time, and I still
Right.
like have a hard time wanting to play zombie games, but like that
It's
urge is starting to slowly come back.
It's hard
So
because you got The Walking Dead that's been on for, I mean, it's
too
been on
long.
now, but you got different variations of that. You got all these zombie movies, and they've just to
Yeah.
death. I mean, it's zombies and everything. Zombie in Call of Duty, zombie in this, zombie in that. They've
Yep.
kind of worn out for some people, so I can kind of understand that fatigue.
Yeah. I was that way, and it's my fault, like when that's like the thing you're playing and everyone's releasing a game and you're like,
Mm.
hell yeah, like this genre is so cool, and then you play too much of it and you're like, all right, I kind of want to play
Right.
something else. So I'm hitting that point now where I've been away from those types of games for so long that like Sunset Overdrive 2 was kind of like coming back to that, like, dude, killing like all these mindless like wandering ODs is like really ridiculously cool.
Well,
You know,
the one thing you'd like about this, Frankie, I don't know if you played it, like if take Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, they had the weapon fragility, which I thought was the weapon fragility in Zelda was a little obnoxious. I mean, a couple strikes and your weapon's broke, this and that. In this game, like you'll run out of gas on your motorcycle or you will damage your motorcycle and you can find components to repair it and you can collect gas cans out in the open, but they've made the game so where you've got all these items. So if something happens to your motorcycle, you've got tons of items that you can pick to repair it. So it's not like obnoxious like Breath of the Wild was in the weapon fragility. It's you've got tons of opportunity to find gasoline because your motorcycle is like your lifeline. If your motorcycle runs out of gas, or you've got repairs and you don't repair it, and then you're stuck out and those zombies attack you, it's game over. You cannot get away. It's over with. They rush you, and they're so fast, man. They're all over you, and you're dead.
yeah. Yeah, that's one of them at some point I'd like to get to, but that's one that I would
But
probably
it's
want
a
to go for
fun
the platinum
game,
trophy.
and you'd like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
on
I
the
really
back
want to
burner.
play it. One of my
One of these
favorite
days.
zombie games was Red Dead Redemption when they did that.
Yeah,
Oh, the
that's
undead.
nice. Oh
Yes, I
yeah.
loved it. That was great.
Yeah, I miss when companies did that. Like it seemed like there was a point where, like Halloween or Christmas, we were getting like these weird expansions. Like I know Sleeping Dogs did one.
Yeah.
But I love that stuff. Like they come out around Halloween, like, hey, we got this
Mhm.
really cool horror
Well,
expansion for you. I miss
if
that
you
stuff.
guys like skill trees, this game has like in Days Gone, they've got these skill trees like that are based on stamina, focus, and I think health or survival. They've got them broken up and so you've got all these. Every time you level up and you earn a skill point, you can select what you want. Do you want more focus? Do you want to be more about survival? When you collect items, they've got one where if you like take a few twigs or some herbs from the ground, you get 2 or 3 times as many by getting this perk. Or you can select focus, which your focus time is kind of like, the Red Dead and Redemption where you had the red eye where you could slow down time and you could focus your shot. It's kind of got this in here so you can perk things to focus. So when you slow down time, you can focus in on the zombies and get headshots and do things. So you can kind of perk your character the way you want to, and there's like all these perks, which kind of makes the game interesting. But it's fun to play, and there's no the trophies. It doesn't matter if you play on easy or hard. There's no difficulty, so you can play on whatever difficulty you like. You can switch it. If you find easy too hard, you can move it up to hard. If hard's too hard, you can move it down to easy. So the game's very user friendly, and there's no difficulty trophy related types things.
Good. That's the stuff I like to hear.
So you can actually enjoy the story, because I know some of us with family, sometimes you're busy, and sometimes, like, I don't mind playing a game on hard. Like when I go to play Neo 2, I know what I'm walking into already, and because I got the platinum on Neo, the first Neo, and that game is difficult. It's like a Bloodborne Souls type game, and I know that I'm going to get my ass handed to me. So, but it's kind of nice every once in a while to where you can like just scale down the difficulty and just enjoy the game and still have fun with it. Because not every game has to be that super hard. I mean, you know, they sometimes they get carried away with that too. Sometimes they make it so hard to where the enjoyment is not there. So the fact that you can play on any difficulty and you can get all the trophies is pretty awesome. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like you're calling out Jump Force right there.
Really?
That's what they did, assholes. That's how I'm ending the show. Don't
There
play
you
Jump
go.
Force.
Don't play Jump Force.
Don't play Jump,
Jump Force a-holes.
So, all right. Well, so that is going to actually do it for us because it is
Sure
after
about it?
12. Yeah, I hope. Unless, what do you got, Peter?
Nothing.
Ah,
Don't
All I
lie.
can say, play Ori. It's good.
Right.
awesome.
Don't tell me what to do.
There's no excuses not to play it,
Right.
especially
There
if
you
you have
go.
Game Pass.
There you go. So, all right. Well, I'm going to get us out of here because it's 12:10. I want to thank the chat room, and once again, congratulations, Deadpool and Nate, and hope you guys enjoy your gift cards. Gentlemen, great show as always, and
Yeah. Glad to be back.
Yeah, most
Yes.
definitely. So, thanks everyone, and we're gonna get up on out of here. Everybody have a great week. You know what? I haven't done I don't have an outro video, so I'm just gonna click
no.
stop.
What do you mean you have an outro?
I know.
video?
I
Where's
still
the
I've got to.
porn
I got to.
music?
I know. I got to work on that. So,
We're supposed to talk. Over.
I
Right.
know.
Thank you for your support. We love you guys.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So,
Richard, you got Coop, De Niro, Dreadful.
yep. Everybody have a good
Still in
night.
chat.
Play on,
Yeah.
gamers.
Game on.
Night, guys.
What do you keep waving around? What is that?